Sounds good.
Just want to check a couple levels here. We'll see how this is going.
You betcha.
Yeah, I think this is going just fine. That looks good. All right. You always got a couple things to kind of keep an eye on. I'll go ahead and switch to the game here. And hey, everybody, how you doing this evening? I thought we would return to Lyria kind of as quickly as possible, considering how we did on Crusader last time. You know, we were lucky enough to have 4 along with us. How you doing tonight, 4?
Doing real good. How are you?
Good, good. So, yeah, I asked him if he wouldn't mind tagging along, and if there's any questions, he can help kind of, you know, get those answered, and we're going to give it a try tonight. So, I'll do a little bit of a pre-flight real quick on my Prospector before we head out. Prospector 2 there. And I have decided that the FLTR XL will work if you put it in the top slot, and it will respect the other 2 brands. Like if I put it in the bottom slot, it gets grumpy, or the middle slot, it gets grumpy. But that top slot, it seems to be working. So I'm excited to have that back on the ship tonight. So
good idea.
yeah, I messed around with it a little bit. So we'll go ahead and pull that guy. Hey. Oh yeah, there's a fella right next to me. Alright, and we will head on over to Lyria tonight. Hey Chris, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Oh, he says the sound is good. Appreciate it. We could use all the help we can get. That kind of stuff. Bad too. Awesome. So happy Tuesday. It's the day after Valentine's Day. Kind of getting towards the evening here. Cold. It's been very cold here the last couple of days. It's been like -5, -10 Fahrenheit.
That's cold enough.
I don't know how that translates, but over your way. But yeah, it's been cold.
Well, 32's freezing, -5. Yeah, you're probably like -15 Celsius ish. Maybe -20.
Chris is saying he just got off work. Congratulations, man. There's nothing like getting to the end of the day at work, for sure.
So just for your FYI, I noticed I went over to your feed on YouTube.
Yes.
And it sends me back about 10 seconds.
Oh,
So
it's about a
I'm
10-second delay?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it on Discord. That way I'm right up to speed, but I can't see your questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. I'll do my best to read them then, for sure.
But at least this way I stay live on the screen. Like last time I was here, it was moved way too far behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep
Yep.
up with compilations.
Yeah, what Forrest's talking about is, you know, we're just trying to, you know, one of the reasons I haven't scheduled regular sessions of streaming is we're just kind of still working out all the little details. And, you know, I've decided that every time I can have 4 along, the stream goes better. I think it's less forced conversation and more people to answer questions, and somebody who's got a lot of experience mining as well. And so every single time we can twist his arm and get him to come with me, I'm going to ask him to do it. So it's been going great. Chris is saying it's 50 there today. So, hey man, I'll take 50 any day of the week.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
Holy
great.
smokes. 50 is like would be balmy compared to what we got going on.
Actually, I'm right in they call it the banana belt, so I'm right inside this little jet stream where it stays fairly warm. Like we get these Chinook winds coming through, so it's always windy, but it's warm when it's windy, so that's good.
No, that is nice.
So yeah, we get up to pluses, so 40 degrees Fahrenheit-ish, and don't have that deep freeze that some of Canada gets all the time.
Mm-hmm. Where I live, it's no mystery. I live in Michigan, and the Great Lakes do a lot of funny business to the weather that comes across the water. You know, it can be really interesting how closer to the water it will stay a little warmer. But there's a lot of what's called lake effect snow, which you can get just a dumped on.
Yeah, I believe you.
And so a lot of times, like real bad thunderstorms will come across the water and break up. And then there are times when there's no thunderstorms coming across the water, but they make thunderstorms. So, yeah. Big enough body of water that it definitely affects the weather. So yeah, pivot port side, and we'll head to Lyria, and that's where we're going to be mining today. Got the Prospector. I have a rush drive on the Prospector today. I've got an FLTR XL and 2 Brants as my consumables. One of them is a mining module, one of them is a consumable. And we are going to just kind of hit Lyria a couple of, well, you never know. Hopefully a couple times. Depending on how fast you find something to mine, right?
Got that right. Have we heard any updates on those new mining module, whatever that's coming out, the new ones?
They're supposed to be out in 3.17.
Oh, perfect.
You know, I know that they had kind of pushed them back on 3.16. I don't think they were removed from the map with some of the other things, so I think 3.17 is when they're supposed to come out. And the one I'm looking forward to the most is the one that's going to allow you to mine the bigger rocks.
Yes.
You know, they didn't show that the last time, but the first time they were showing it, they showed, like, you know, they actually had the narrative where they wanted to be able to mine bigger rocks on the planet surface. So I'm hoping that maybe you can stick one of those things on, like a, you know, a 6,000 or 7,000 pounder and not have a problem. Right.
Yeah, definitely. No, I hear you.
All right, so I'm going to kind of switch the mouse and keyboard here and crank up the speed a touch, and we'll get down on the deck and start looking around. Oh, I dropped the gear. That's awesome. Pull that back up. So yeah, Crusader system, I spent some time over there on Saturday, and boy, you know, there was not a lot of Quantanium to be had. Now, that's just because you go mining one time, that doesn't mean that's you know, that's all she wrote. That's the narrative, right? But I did spend quite a bit of time over there on Saturday outside of the stream as well, and ooh boy,
she was slim pickings.
It was tough sledding, yeah, it really was. Chris is saying, have you guys tested the hover quad yet? I didn't. One got one of those, didn't he?
I don't know about that.
I thought he said he might have.
He might have.
Yep, I think I personally haven't tested it.
Sounds like something he would do.
Yes. What I remember him saying about it was, a lot of singles here, is that it seemed like it seemed very stable. Like it was a very stable platform. Like,
okay.
You know, that was the main thing that he took away from it.
More like a quad rather than a bike.
Right. You know, and one of the things I liked about it, you know, is and I don't, maybe the other ones have that as well, but the storage on it looks like you can put, you know, a few handguns in there and some other things. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, that'd be all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little storage. A lot of singles here.
Yeah, I'd be into something like that. Definitely might have to check that out. I'll wait till it comes out in game.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you have your new system before we do the derby here.
Yeah.
Well, we won't be doing the derby without you. You know what I mean?
Well, it is what it is, but yeah, no, I think they said it's gonna ship tomorrow.
Hey, look at that.
There we go. Nice cluster. Nice cluster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Computer's supposed to ship tomorrow, so I should have that Alienware A12 or whatever that is, and it'll be coming soon.
Yeah, new
As long as
Alienware.
it doesn't have to cross any borders or come from Ottawa.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Oh, that's not a small cluster either. That's a healthy load of rocks right there.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That might be
I think I see. I count.
That's
10.
10. Yeah, that's 10. That is nothing to sneeze at there.
Well, hopefully they got something in it.
Well, that's right. It's, you know, one thing I always like to say, it won't be the first cluster I drove away from if I have to.
That's true.
But we'll just keep our fingers crossed here. Obviously, 10 opportunities is a good thing. Kind of get nose down here and see if we can't get them to pop. Big cluster like that might take a moment.
Takes a little bit.
grumpy.
Geez, I'm gonna be like 3, almost maybe 4 weeks out of this game before I get back with a decent machine. So I'm gonna be brand noob again.
Oh my stars, yeah. Before I had a video card, kind of decide to, and not the best time for video cards to die right now, you know. But you got a heck of a deal on that machine, man. Honestly.
Yeah. You can't beat it going to Dell right to the source.
Yep. All right. Well, and I mean, you know, if you could get your hands on these, 30 series cards, you might, you know, you could always do something different, but you hardly can't. So you might as well just do it that way. Heck yeah. Kind of nose down a few.
The only other thing I'll need to upgrade on that is I'm still only at 16 gigabyte RAM, so I'll buy a couple of. I'll buy a dual 16 gig, and then we'll have 32 RAM. I think that'll be plenty enough to play on this machine. Absolutely,
and I noticed. Obviously, the SSD is the most important thing, you know. And people talk about it. That's a 6%er. And I wouldn't argue with any of that, but I did notice it. The game very, very much smoothed out after I went to 32 gig of RAM. Little things like the star map and stuff just seemed to be far less intermittent. That's a 11%er there. It almost seems like the UI's changed a bit. You know, like it's an awful thin, even if it's just 10% in there. It's an awful thin green area.
The optimal window, yeah.
Absolutely. That's a 7%er. This may be a working man's cluster.
Yeah.
We'll see.
The old blue collar cluster. Well, maybe not.
There's a 20%er. That's at 5,400. Let me at least put that into QuantCalc real quick. Just because I'm curious. 5,400 at 20. That is 21.6 SCU right there. So nothing to seize at, but still quite a few rocks to scan there. 5 more.
I can run the QuantCalc for you if you like.
Hey, that would be great. Probably not going to drive away from that 20 SCU unless there's something more in here. Keep our fingers crossed. There's 3 more to scan. But the minute you drive away from a 20 SCU, the old mining gods don't like that. All right, 1 more to scan.
You could fly for an hour before you can find another one.
That's right. That's going to be like a 10%er. Yeah, there's a lot of odd percentages in this one, just in general. Like you got a 6.24 there, and then you got look at it, remembering too. An 11 there, 10.93, a 5.75. Isn't this interesting? There's the 20, but then you had like a 7.84. This is an 8.99. I don't know that I've ever seen a cluster quite with that many. Usually you get a lot of 2%ers and that type of thing.
It's usually all 2%ers and 1 good one or nothing.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Or a couple good ones, couple medium ones, and all 2%. So that could be. I wonder if that meta's starting to shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just something to take note of for sure. So we're gonna get in real tight on this guy, and I'll start breaking her up.
Because that would be a bad thing. I really like, the big unis surrounded by nothings. Because it's just so much easier to break 1 rock than to break 4.
I agree with that. And we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, there could be this huge cyclical way that they do it. You know what I mean? Like, you never do know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 5,400 pounds. Our mass or whatever. I'm getting a little tighter, and we'll start. Not going to have any problem breaking this rock up. Now, my best I can do in this is 20, and we got to hope that, you get some decent breaks in it. But I do have the FLTR XL, which can help a little bit if we get some inert going. And whoever's watching, thanks for joining us. I see there's a few of you. If you have any questions about mining at all, we'd love to answer the questions. So, no pressure, but if you have some questions, yeah.
If you have other questions in general, we're fairly knowledgeable there too.
Yeah, of course. It doesn't even have to, exactly. It doesn't have to revolve around mining at all. We're happy to give you our best opinion on anything.
Yeah, it might not be the right one, but we'll give you our best guesstimate.
Yeah, exactly. So,
5448 at 20% looks like a possibility of 21.8
good.
So that's not bad.
No, and and it's one of those things where you just don't want to drive away from 20 and then fly around for a half hour and not find anything else. So just one of those things that you just want to do it.
We'll make hay while the sun's shining here. Yeah.
Oh, yep.
And I mean, still, that's 170,000 SCU. That's a pretty good.
Nothing to sneeze at.
5 minutes down on the surface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've been out here just a few minutes exactly. So nothing to sneeze at. And you never know how the rocks are going to break too. So there's always opportunities to demonstrate. Depending on how she breaks and what's happening there.
How much is buried? Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. We're getting there. Almost there.
Yeah, she's resistant a little bit. She's a little slower, but that's okay. A 1.42 instability. I shouldn't even need to get into a Brant for this first break.
I wouldn't for your first. Maybe on your secondary breaks.
Yeah, especially if we get 100%er here, which is cross your fingers. That's what you're looking for, right?
I find that large rock, it doesn't have the instability that the smaller rocks do. You get into the smaller rocks, it's 2.5% or whatever that is. Big rocks, you're lucky to see 1.5% instability, right?
Yeah, and I have kind of a rule of thumb that if it's north of 1.75, I'm looking to probably fire. Man, look at that kind of dive. We'll get there. It'll come back up, but it's definitely trying to be. It jumped up in the optimal, and I scaled it back just a touch, and she decided to fall out. So here she comes on back up in there. I'll let it build up into the green pretty good before I fall back with it this time. Good break. Oh, and look at most of it stayed right up on the surface too. I don't even know. It must have been a little hill, kind of a hill there, eh? Didn't look like it.
Yeah, it must have been a little bit of a knoll here. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that's an 814 at a 56%. Okay. This is going to be nothing. Oh, 3%. Yikes. Not a great break. This is a 937 at 42%.
Not a great break. Good thing you have that filter on.
Yeah, it is. This is going to be nothing for sure. And there's this guy here.
That one's going to be full.
Yeah, you'd think that that's going to be a better one. No, that's a nothing.
Nope.
All right, so you got nothing there, you got nothing there. And you got half this mass, 937, that's 42. You got 3%er, and you got that guy, that's a pretty good mass at 56. So, boy, it does seem like that doesn't seem like it's all of it, does it?
Doesn't seem like enough, does it? No.
The math's not going to shake out, and it did. I mean, unless a piece broke and fell under.
Right underneath, you can't see it, maybe.
Yeah, well, I definitely can't see it. Well, we'll just break it up and grab it. See how we do. Chris Bates is saying, what is your recommendation on PC minimum specs for Star Citizen? Just got my taxes. I want to buy a good PC. I would definitely recommend something like a 5800X as a processor. I think that's a really good processor and a very decent price right now. I would say video card's going to be your toughest thing, right? You're going to want to at least get a 3060 or something along those lines. On the AMD side, it's just hard to get video cards right now. So, it's going to be a little bit of a difficulty there. But, if you're going on the AMD side, I noticed that the best value right now is the 6900 XT, which is, kind of a flagship thing, but, you're paying $1,000 for for the lower models, so you might as well pay $1,100 and get the flagship AMD model. If you can get yourself any kind of an RTX, and of course there are places like Dell or Build Redo, or there are places you can get them. I'll just break up this 3%er. I mean, it won't hurt. 32 gig of RAM, an SSD card for sure, some kind of an M.2 drive, or some kind of an SSD. Absolutely recommend that. Outside of that,
terabyte SSD has done nothing but wonders for me, and I have a low video card before it crashed. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, an SSD is an important, is really the most primary thing. And
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You didn't interrupt me at all. And like I said, 32 gig of RAM, some kind of an RTX 30 series if you can do it. Yeah, something along those lines. I myself am running a 3900X, and I am running a 3070. And I play at 1440p, and it plays fine. I stream at 1080, but I just I render it down to 1080, so it's manageable as far as the stream is concerned.
Then at least you're not choppy on your stream.
Yeah, you don't want to try and stream. Well, I mean, if I had a fiber connection, I might be able to stream 1440p, but most people, I understand with the stream that 1080 is just fine. Well, I haven't had to really burn a brand because most of what you're seeing here has been, hasn't had high instabilities. But I can tell you, this is it's going to be interesting because one of those, there must have been a pretty good hunk of this, in my opinion, that must have fell below the surface. So we'll give it a try and see what we got.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think the math checks out.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, all right, well, we'll get it started here and see how we do.
Go for a scoop.
Hey, there's a hundo at least. At least you get one. Gentle Lion is saying, hi, I have a question about hand mining. I started playing this Saturday. So I'd like to know if there's a trick to finding caves, or the only option are mission investigations. Those investigation missions are really going to be one of the best ways to get to caves, for sure. I don't know that there's any other tricks to it than that. I don't know that
other than stumbling across one,
right?
Really, you know what I mean? That's your best direct line. Yep.
Yeah. I always use the investigation missions to get to the caves. Now, there are a couple of caves, like I know there's boy, what is that one on Daymar? Like Kudra Mine. That one is just happens to be marked. When you go to Daymar and look, Kudra Mine is closed, and there's lots of hand minables down in Kudra Mine. So you could check out that for sure.
Video on that. Actually, you got a video if you want to watch that video. We did a video on that not long ago.
Yeah, we did do a hand mining video at Kudra. That's right, you and I did that. Boy, there's some low percentages here. But we're just trying to get the 20 out of this, so we're gonna see how we do. There's a lot of.
This is your 3% rock, remember?
Yes, this is. And it broke up like that too. It didn't all break into one. Oh, Bob Barker saying you can go to prison too. That's another way. That's true.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that. Absolutely.
I don't know. Can you bring those out with you though when you leave prison?
Oh,
I don't know that you can. Bob Barker did laugh when he did LOL that. There's a 98%er. Yeah, you could definitely mine in prison. I don't know that they can.
You can hone your skills in prison and get your time cut down, but yeah, they're not letting you take anything out with you.
Right. It's 100% quartz there. Jenna Line says, I was in prison once and I didn't like it. I don't think.
Nerd jail. I
Yeah.
know.
That's true.
I don't like it either. It's not my favorite thing. Unless we're mining for merits. That's a lot of fun when we get a few guys together mining for merit.
We do these. What is it? You fix you fix something or another in there, like the air machines or something.
Yeah, O2 machines down in the
And then we put those merits on like an alt. So in case we're out doing a an event, we can get people out. You know, type of thing. You have them on hand, so if anybody goes to jail, you can help them along. So this is, yeah, we're at 16, so it's not like we're too far off the mark.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm just going to go back through these real quick. We have plenty of time. That was a nothing. Thought one of these had a... No, that's nothing.
And he's just giving them a quick blast with the extractor right now, and that helps them scan. Because after you scan them once, sometimes they get fussy and they don't want to scan again for you.
Yep.
But if you hit them quick, one time, just with that extraction mode, then they will rescan for you.
Bob is saying he did 36 minutes of hard time yesterday, and my avatar came out of space prison tatted up and talking slang.
Yeah, he did.
He got acclimated. You know, one thing's for sure, you don't go to prison and Gandhi up the place, you know. usually doesn't end well. Alright, so there's a couple of... This is like at 8.26. We're starting to take on some Garbola. The good news is the filter's going to help with some of that stuff for sure.
Absolutely. It'll take...
So we're a little over 17 SCU here, which is not anything to sneeze at. I'm just going to hit each one of these before we get out of here and take this into the refinery. So the best possible that we were going to do on this was going to be around 21. So it broke a little funny. And there's 3 more rocks here for me to look at. Bob's laughing. That's funny. Nope. No.
Came out of nerd jail and he's all ganged up.
Tatted up and ready to roll. All right. Well, this guy did not break that cleanly, but we're not going to sneak. We've been out here for a couple of minutes and we made a little money, so we're not going to complain about that. That's 17.2 in the hopper. We found a heck of a nice cluster, but you know, this was the best rock in it. Off we go.
I suppose the only other thing a guy could have done there was taken that 11%er and broken that down just to try to fill the end of the hopper.
Yep.
But I mean, now you're there for twice as long, right?
That's exactly right.
Is it worth that time to get that extra 11% where you might, you know, you're picking up a lot of extra garbage, or make your way back and get your ass back down to the planet and make another big run?
You know what? Either way would have been respectable. I'm getting yanked out of quantum. Look at that. Somebody's going to try and pull me out of quantum.
Uh-oh.
Got my QT jammed. Looks like they're...
Yeah. Looks like they're fighting.
Yeah. Guys, would you mind if I just slip through here? I'm going to go ahead and just gun the thing and crank her up to max, and as soon as I can, I'm getting out of here.
There you go.
There we are. You know, hey, if nothing gets the blood pumping there, what good is it?
QT Jam will do it. That'll definitely do it.
Yeah, she gummed me right up.
See, they could have been looking for you. You don't know, right? You just don't know.
You never do know. Although it looked like the advocacy was, or somebody was after him. So,
yeah.
hard to say what's going on.
If somebody's sitting in between Arc L1 and Lyria, right at that exact flight path, you know what I mean? Like that's, and they got their QT jammers or whatever, and you know it's kind of a. Sorry, what am I trying to say here? It's a coincidence if they were just in that space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know, and with 17 SCU on board, I probably, you know, hard to say how much they would have tried to. How much? I don't have a lot of time to debate with them.
That's exactly. Yeah, not so much negotiation time. There you go. Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
To watch that eject button click, and I'll come and rescue you. Oh wait, no, I can't.
While we're flying here, I'll do a little bit. I won't do these a whole lot, but a little bit of a shameless plug. You know, if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button. You know, that always helps us out a little bit, and you know, it just helps us just kind of know that that what we're doing is you guys think is groovy.
Subscribe to the channel. Help it out, man.
Yeah. This is what we do a lot, you know, and we're going to kind of set some regular times, and it's not just prospector mining. There's going to be some mole mining, hand mining, some ROC mining, all of the above.
We just picked up an M1 or not M1, excuse me, the
M2.
M2, excuse me, and might have to try out some rock mining here pretty quick.
Yes, the M2 Hercules we're going to use that as an ROC platform, and we're excited about that.
I think we should get a rock DS and try a mine out. Like try a cave out, I mean.
Sharp777 just said, now that Xeno's finished, players are getting itchy trigger fingers again. That very well could be the case.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with that. Absolutely, Sharp. You know, and you know, I mean, I'm, you know, just a lonely guy here. I'm just a lonely miner out here, just kind of sneaking back and forth, trying to... Look at this rock icon here at the station. What's going on with it? Someone push one in, or...
Yeah, it's right there.
What the heck? That's weird. Oh, you always get something to laugh about at the old game. Sharp saying, was pulled out of queue twice today on my way back from Lyria. And was fired at going into Area 18. Oh, so the LZ's been a little hot, sounds like, for sure.
Yeah, they are getting trigger happy. You're bet.
Yeah. A little froggy there. Oh, there's first alarm. Now, that doesn't surprise me that first alarm popped up a little earlier than normal, than we normally see it. And that's because I was trying to be discerning with the laser there pretty good. But you know what? If that's just the first that we've seen first alarm, we're doing fine.
I think that rock icon is a glitch.
Oh, she has.
I didn't...
I don't know what that's doing.
See it, but, well, there it goes. Okay, well, maybe not. Looked like it was following you.
Alright, we'll set her down nice and gentle. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to come in too hot with a full tank of Quantanium.
No, sir. Little post-flight there, and in we go. So we didn't want to anger the mining gods there. We found a heck of a nice cluster of Quantanium, but the only rock in it had 21 SCU. And, you know, is one of those, as an old miner, you just kind of grab them. Anything over 20 SCU, you just don't turn your nose up at, because you might get sentenced to 43 minutes of flying around just burning hydrogen. So we took it.
We've seen it more often than not. So.
Yep. So we grabbed it, and I think we ended up with 17 SCU. We're gonna throw this in the hopper. We're gonna head back out on another run for sure.
150 grand. That's okay.
No, yeah, nothing to sneeze at. Anything that's north of 15 or whatever, it's good to throw it in the old hopper and be done with it.
And if you got the big one like the Taurus, like you've got, if you get that Taurus for hauling, it doesn't matter how many orders you have in there. You have 20 orders in there if they're all 15 or 16. And
right.
It doesn't matter if you've got them all at 32 or 96.
Oh, and that M2, that'll hold 522 SCU.
Oh, nice. So yeah, you could run almost 6 runs with your mole.
Yeah, that thing has got, you know, I mean, and it's, you know, of course the C2, you know, has the 696, but that M2's fine. That's over 500 SCU. That's nothing to sneeze at in today's game.
I think for the time being, for all intents and purposes here, 500 is more than what we're cashing in at one time. You know what I mean?
I don't feel comfortable flying, you know, on a cargo run, flying much more north of a Taurus, which is 174 SCU. And I feel a lot more comfortable flying more around a Freelancer Max, which is 122 SCU.
Agreed. At least then if you lose it, you don't want to, like, destroy your computer screen and throw it out the window or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, that's exactly right. You know, just kind of...
The old rage quit, and now I'm buying a new fucking computer monitor.
Right, you know, yeah, exactly. I mean, just, if, you know... And obviously, piracy being what it is, you got to respect the skill set that it takes. And, you know, and if they're reasonable, they're like, hey, give me 40 or 50,000. You know, you really do need to consider whether or not it might be worth your time to just pay and move on.
Negotiate with terrorists.
You know, not my favorite thing to do, but if they're reasonable about it, and you know they're not, you know, just indiscriminately killing you, then, you know, heck. But I don't know. Sometimes
share with Sugar Bear.
Yeah, well, occasionally I just go, ramming speed. I just got. You know.
There you go. Yeah, try your best, and you know what? If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me.
I'm gonna try. You know, it just depends on what mood you catch me in, I think, because I definitely have advocated the other side of it too. Just, I'm not giving you a dime. But no, it's reasonable. All right, so we ended up with 1634 in the hopper there. Nothing to. So Bob is asking, why didn't you fill your ore cargo? Not sure I understand the question. If you're asking like if there were other things there that I just didn't grab, the main reason is because it slows down the refining time. Like let's say there was a bunch of quartz there, or there was a bunch of other things that I could have picked up out of that rock. It's all going to still refine in the same batch. So it's just going to slow down the refining of the job significantly, you know, for... you know, pennies on the dollar, 600-700 SEU or something.
Yeah, instead of taking, you know, 16 hours, now that Desync solution is going to take a day and 20 hours.
Right.
Because you had that full load of barrel that doesn't really, you know what I mean? And you get it down and you sell it and it's only worth 20 grand.
Right, if it's worth that, exactly. So that's exactly right. It just extends the time and doesn't really offer you a whole lot for it. Sharp is saying he always does a run in the Taurus. It feels safer. I like the Taurus as a hauler. I agree, Sharp, with that. That's my favorite kind of. It's a little bit of a gunboat. She's got missiles on it.
That's right.
You know, it does have 2 size 5s, 2 size 4s. You know, it's nothing to sneeze at. You know, if you
can get a couple guys and running your turrets for you, then
yep.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
then at least you're safe. Then somebody attacks you, then at least you stand a fighting chance.
That's exactly right. Now, you still might have to give it up or whatever, but you know, take a crack at the Taurus. You got to be pretty serious about doing what you're doing. Yeah, a little pre-flight there, and that looks looking good. Still got the FLTRs, and I didn't really use a whole lot of brands on that one because it didn't break clean enough for me to have to use them.
I don't think you used any.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and pull the Prospector back out, and we'll head over to Lyria and
try one more time.
Yeah, see if we can't.
Grab a uni of the deal.
Yeah, put a little more in the hopper.
Knock on wood.
Yes. Uni would be awesome. You can't complain though. I mean, 16 SCU. I know it's you know, it's about half what the Prospector can hold, but it's still well over 100,000. You know, and we were only down there for holy mackerel, only all of maybe 5 minutes looking around when we found that one.
So, and I mean total. So you say you're 10 minutes breaking it up, you're 5 minutes looking around, so 15 minutes. You know, round trip, you're under a half an hour for 100,000. That's not bad.
No, nothing to sneeze at there. And sometimes you got to take the bigger ones and the little ones, and gives you a little bit of. It's kind of nice sometimes to have a, you know, a little one that you can sneak on if you're getting close to the cap or whatever. We're not gonna sneeze at it.
Especially too, you gotta watch when you're getting close to the update or whatever, and you know that this, you know, a big load is gonna take you a day and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You can take 2 little loads and it only takes you 15 hours. Now, you might be able to get off 2 little loads instead of 1 big load and make twice as much money because you'd lose the whole thing if you went past the update.
Absolutely. Alright, so back off to Arc Corp we go, and we'll swing back over to Lyria and head on down there and see if we can't find something more to mine. So Sharp is saying tried it in a raft, but was like driving a moving target. Yeah, the raft is definitely. I would agree. The raft is not going to be kind of a blockade runner. It's going to be a safe space. You know, a controlled, safe space place where you're gonna want to do your cargo running in the raft. She's There's not a whole lot of firepower there, not a whole lot of getaway either. So, although I do like the raft, and I do wonder when they do the cargo refactor if the external cargo is just going to go faster than having to load it internally. So that, you know, that thing may be able to just kind of set it down, drop the boxes, grab more boxes, and go. Where, you know, it's hard to say. I know there are going to be probably some stop gaps with the cargo refactor between now and then. But ultimately, I do wonder if the raft is going to have, you know, there's going to be some advantage to an external cargo, you know, grabbing the boxes. But I don't disagree that that thing's a bit of a target, for sure. You had a chance to fly around in the raft at all yet, for? Did I lose you, for? Oh, I might have. I don't hear you, for, if you are chatting, but no big deal. Sometimes I know you have to kind of mess around with that headset a little bit.
All right, off Lyria.
Yeah. Have you ever flown in the raft before?
Myself, no.
Yeah, they really did a good job. I was Sharp as saying it's a great looking ship. It is a good looking ship, the raft. The interior's really cool. You know, it's an Argo ship, so you know it definitely has mole vibes to it.
I think I did. Was it on that that last showcase that they had? I think I might have checked it out in the last showcase there.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean.
Oh,
I mean,
you mean over at IAE?
That's
yeah. It was there. Yep.
Yeah, I think I went on board and I checked it out over at IAE there. That was okay. Yeah, I like that. I wouldn't mind getting to know that a little better, actually. Yeah. On
the channel here, I have an Argo Raft video where I took it, you know, I just kind of hauled it over to Daymar and landed and did a walk around on it and gave some thoughts on it. And you know, first of all, it's a great looking ship. I mean, you know, the real question for me is, like I said, will that external cargo, will that play out where it actually, you know, goes faster than internal cargo when you're in the cargo refactor? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. I'd like to. Yeah. I mean, no way to know until you actually.
Until they implement
it. Implement it, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
But no, that would make sense.
All right, so back on Lyria we come.
Let's drop on one right now. We'll drop on a uni.
Hey, there's a uni. There he is. It's a single.
No, maybe not. Every now and then you get one though. Every now and then you come up on a doubler or, and she's got one real good one as soon as you drop down.
See if I can get any kind of a scan going. You know, the geometry doesn't like the V scans, you know, just at all in the on the planet surfaces. We'll go down and give it a visual though. Just to keep it honest. We don't look at very many singles on Lyria. Obviously the doublers and the. What about this? Oh, she's gonna scan this time.
Nice.
That's a 2700 mass. Little tungsten, corundum, and a little bit of laranite.
that ain't gonna cut the mustard.
No. So we'll kind of climb back up, and I like to cruise around 300 or so when we're doing this, and just head in the direction. Now look how far off those diamonds are.
Yeah, wow, right?
You know what I mean? That's new meta. You know that I don't recall the kind of passive scan because I didn't even do an active ping. I don't recall the passive scan working at that distance. I mean, that was. You know, I'm going to fly over this. I'm just going to go check that guy out for a second and just kind of, because it's just a curiosity of mine. It was right in this area, too. Just a weird one. Kind of a ghost in the machine.
Yeah, what? Where did it go, right?
Yeah, no worries.
I suppose if a guy would have went down and checked each one of those individually, you might have found it, but
Right. Oh, I think
I mean?
if I'd have got a little closer, we might have found out that they were actually there for sure. But
weird that it showed so far off. Usually you don't see those diamond icons so far off.
You
That's
don't.
usually as you're passing over them and only flying at like 100 SCM.
Right, exactly. You know, a much more reasonable clip, because when you're looking for those, you can really kind of get over the top of them and get past them before you know it.
And obviously, that's the rock minables. Those are the ROC minables for anybody that doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. Which I recently did a video showing you how you can pop those with your Prospector.
That's right.
That's on the channel.
Them, but you can't scoop them.
You can't scoop them. One thing I was wondering is, you know, like, and I haven't looked into this, but does the DS, does that have the exact same laser on it? Oh, there's some doublers. You know, I wonder if the DS can scoop faster, or if it's
just before the big wipe. I bought the DS,
mm-hmm.
and I used it once, but I never actually looked to see if it has the same laser. I suppose I could look it up, but
yeah, I should, you know, we should look at that sometime, I guess. Hey, these pop pretty quickly, so these doublers will have a, see what we got there. That's not going to be a whole lot. If I can stay on it. 2%er. What do we got there? This is going to be a little better, but not great. 9%er. No big deal. There's some more rock minables. They're everywhere. Hey, there's another set of doublers right there. We'll get in here and put a scan on these guys and see what we got. That's not going to be too good. Nope, that's a 2%er.
Just checking the wikis here, and yes, they have the exact same mining laser, the DS and the rock.
Now this is a nice rock, but I won't be able to crack it. And this will be the one that would drive, you know, that would definitely, you'd be like, oh man, I can get that one, because that's a 6290 at 31%.
Yeah, see, that's the baby. That's where I like my surge, right?
Yeah.
That's perfect for one surge.
That would be an excellent surge rock. Easy pickings with a single surge. You know, if you fire that in the QuantCalc, that's a pretty good mass in that rock. That's probably between 40 and 50 SCU, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, 62...
6290 at 31%.
That's 38.9 Quantanium.
Yeah, good rock.
See how easy that QuantCalc works? Shameless plug.
Yeah.
QuantCalc on your Play Store.
Yeah, Google Play Store. QuantCalc, we have a little app, and it really is for just quickly telling you whether or not something's worth putting the lasers on. And we're not trying to make, it's only $1. We're not trying to make $1 million on it. We're just trying to, you know, pay for our org Discord and a few other things, and it's
help some people out. Absolutely.
Really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a handy tool. We had it on our website for the longest time, and I was using it, and I just happened to mention it to one of our guys, and he knocked it, you know, made a nap out of it. So it's actually super handy to have. And if there's 4 or 5 rocks there, you can just choose the size of the cluster, and it will kind of keep a running amount for you of how.
And simplistic too. Like, it's, you know, it's dumbed down. Anybody can use it. It's,
right.
You know, it's so easy. It's right there in front of you. You can do an entire cluster and find out what a 10 rock cluster contains all total.
That is exactly right. It's a, you know, the biggest thing that I wanted out of it is that it would be really simple. So, Sharp's asking, do you have any preferred areas on Lyria, or do you find it doesn't make a lot of difference? I think, I like going around the orphanage myself.
I agree with that, and I mean, I might be biased just because, you know, I went around a few other places, but I find I like Orphanage. That's where I like to go, and as long as you stay in the foothills, you usually can come up with something.
Yep. Around the Orphanage is good. Now, you know, and we've talked about it a little bit on the stream here. I definitely, I stay in, you know, I tend to think the visuals are better for the stream if I stay in the daylight. But one of these days we're going to just go over to the, you know, there's an argument to be made that the contrast is better when you mine at night.
That's the argument I make, absolutely.
You know, and it's a reasonable argument. Absolutely reasonable.
We'll have to definitely try one for a night mining mission. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just show a guy could go one mission on the day, one mission on the night, and then you can contrast. You can see on that same video exactly what you know what I mean? What your preference might be, because it's really up to you.
The only other thing I'll say is that if you mine at the extreme North Pole, it's very you know, the rocks are very white. You know, like if you're trying to do any kind of a visual on them, you have to get real close in order to recognize the orange marbling. But for
they're all snow capped.
Yeah, they're all snowy, but you don't really have to do that on Lyria. That's the thing. Chris Bates is saying it would be nice to have that app on a mobi-glass in game. Yeah, I mean, or just a tablet sitting there with it, because it's fast and easy. That's a good point, Chris. I mean, it is.
You know, I got Chris Roberts on speed dial here. I think I might give him a call and pitch that one to him. You bet.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. We get it right on the mobi-glass. Why not?
That would be ideal.
Now we're making $1 million on this.
Oh yeah.
You bet.
We'll have Discord, unlimited Discord. That's funny. That is an excellent idea.
Get her in for 3.17. You bet.
Here's the one thing about the mining gadgets. Though, if they would just put in one where you could just stick it on a rock and it would make a quantum marker, you know, so you could go out prospecting, mark a rock, and then go get your prospector or your mole and come back and mine it.
Like putting like a buoy on it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
that'd
man.
be great.
That would be the cat's meow right there for me.
Fine. You could scout 6 rocks. You have a guy scouting 6 rocks and then know where each one is. Oh man, that'd be perfect.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could. Oh, that's true. You could plot yourself out almost like a little course, right?
Absolutely.
You know, get one and then, you know, tag another one, then go get your mining ship. Oh yeah.
Yeah, away you go. Absolutely.
A lot of singles. Haven't seen a whole lot of double. We've seen a couple doublers early, but we're gonna pivot towards the sun now. I definitely like to go, you know, a direction kind of away from where you come in at first, and then eventually turn towards the sun. So,
see, that's the other thing too. Like we were talking about, you know, minimum requirements on that one. When you're flying on Lyria, you get close to the sun. If you know what I mean, if your graphics aren't the greatest, you get really washed out towards the sun.
It is washed out. Well, one of the reasons I always use the Arrow armor set is because, you know, there's already blue hues. And so when you use the Arrow, you get these yellow icons, and that kind of helps the rock stand out really well. But I agree with what you're saying. Things do get a little washed out, and there's actually an NVIDIA setting, like on the NVIDIA experience, you can actually set it to use NVIDIA colors, not you know, and that actually can make it less washed out too. Now, I don't set that setting very often, but I've done it before, and it's actually surprising. Hey, there's a cluster.
There we go.
Yeah. And Chris is saying, hey, it would be cool to have an app for salvage too. That's for sure, Chris.
That'll be coming in the future once that comes out big time.
Yeah, if there's something that we can do that's going to make salvage, you know, like some way for you to scan a ship, and it's going to kind of give you an idea how much scrap's going to be in it, and this and that, you know, you bet we're going to be on that, and you know, we're all about making the simplest, lightest weight little things to make things easier for everybody. So, like I said, we're far more interested. The joy of the game is really far more. It's not so much, you know, we already had those tools. We just thought it might be fun if other people got them too, and so that's why we're only charging $1 for them. Heck yeah. All right, so we got a few to scan here. This one here is going to be a 3%er. Nothing to write home about. But we got a few to scan, so we'll... All right, that is going to be a 2%er. This could be a good one. That's a 31%. It's a 3820 at 31.58%.
That roughly 24 SCU on that one.
All right, and here's a 2800 at 38.9%. So I might be busting up 2 rocks here to get myself, you know, unless there's one here with enough mass to do it.
That's a 21.8.
So there's 50 SCU between those 2 rocks, and this is the last one I have to scan here. This is going to be around a 10% or 7.13. Sharp saying, well, I just learned that it's the armor that makes icons yellow. It is, in this particular case, Sharp, it is the Aerial Hazard set that makes the icons yellow.
Instead of light blue.
Instead of that light blue in this particular case. So this is actually going to be fun, and I think this worked out great because this is going to be an excellent instructional. So that rock there is not going to get me to a full 32 SCU, and that rock there is not going to get me a full 32 SCU. But between the two of them, if I break them up, we should be in pretty good shape. So let's, and it depends on how they break, and there's no guarantee of a uni ever, but you know what, we're going to break both these rocks up. This one is a smaller one, so we're just going to break that guy up first, and break down the purples. This one will break because it's such a small one. Usually there'll be extra purples in it just right off the get-go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you'll have 1 or 2 yellows to secondary break, and there will be a few purples because it's under that 3,000 or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these, they're right next to each other, so we'll be able to pick over the hundos or whatever between the two, and cross your fingers that there are hundos. Scalba, Scalba's saying all you need is the helmet you don't have to wear the whole set. That's a good point, Scalba.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, all you need is the helmet for the aerial armor set in order to get the icons. I agree with that 100%.
I was just gonna say,
No problem.
the other thing too is that you, like with that filter module now, you'll take less. So I mean, I could feasibly see for sure a 30 SCU with these 2 rocks.
There's a potential of 50 SCU here, so if we get lucky on breaks, there is a potential for a uni here. But it's just
absolutely, there's potential for a uni. I'm just I'm trying. Sorry, maybe I'm being pessimistic. I'm trying to be realistic.
Yeah, well, you're not being pessimistic at all. It very well could break where there's mixed percentages and you'd never get a uni out of it.
Absolutely, without that filter though. But with that filter, you get a lot.
You're right. We're going to be able to maximize using the FLTR XL for sure. So there's a purple guy. Let's take a look at this guy and see how that one turned out. That is 100% quartz.
It's good. We can ignore him.
Yeah, and this is going to be nothing. So that's good. So there's only going to be potentially...
See, the nice thing is the more you find with nothing, the better it is, because that means they're more concentrated into fewer rocks.
It's very true. This one's going to be that is a 0.93, so it's really going to be these 2 rocks. I'm going to have 2 to break that are 100%ers, basically. That's a 100%er, and that's a 100%er. So this broke really clean.
Yeah, that broke really well.
Yeah, this broke really clean, and that bodes well. And, I will definitely be firing a Brant here to... We'll try and do what we do.
Your instability is at 2.5, right? And now, look at it. Now it's down under 0, or under 1%. Yeah.
Yep, it's 0.62. It went from a 2.5 to a 6.2. Now, the goal is to try and break both rocks with 1 Brant, and the trick is to get it through 1 rock and then get it into the green on the other rock with 30 seconds or so left. And so we're making good time so far. You obviously want to try and keep it in there. Now this is a little mini game I play with myself. It doesn't matter if you burn brands or not. But
no, they're cheap like pork.
Right. You just burn them and don't worry about it. But
then this one you get in there and get her into the green, but don't go too banana sandwich. Yeah, see?
She got into there a little tight, but that's okay. It was only a little bit.
I like to play with the ragged edge of disaster a little too.
Yeah. But no, I think we're in good shape.
On that token, I have blown myself apart more than once.
Bring her back down to 7. Yeah, this is a nice demonstration, obviously, breaking up the 2 rocks, you know, to try and clean up and get the most you can here. And there's 2, these are all hundos over here to grab, so everything I broke over here that's purple is a hundo.
So, you know, other than that one on the left, everything is 100%.
That's right. Oh yeah, there's that big boy, this real big boy here on the extreme left. That's 100% quartz. But all of those purples over there are all 100%ers.
Scan them. You don't even have to scan them. You know that they're 100. You can just scoop them.
That's exactly right. Now, if you notice here, I'm going to roll, and I'm going to get into effective range. But once again, I'm using the sun to put the optimal, to shadow out the optimal. So you're giving yourself a little extra contrast here to make sure, you know, that you have the best possible, you know, it's not so washed out, the UI. And here she comes. Halfway through it now. Easy break, this one should be. It's a 3820. It's a 1.93 instability, but that, you know, like we talked about, that first rock's mass is so big usually it's not quite as wild as some of the smaller.
It doesn't jump near as much.
Right. Holding her good and midway through the optimal. Can't complain at all.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh, she dove pretty good there. Oh, I saved it though. And that should be a clean break. Right.
Yeah, they spread out nice too. That's good.
Yeah, this isn't nothing because that's from the other rock. But that's a 22%er there. That is a 34%er there.
So this one didn't break up quite as well.
No, it didn't at all. There's a 29%er.
Okay, well this one will take a little more doing, but you'll get there.
That is a 57%er.
A little better.
Yeah, this is a whole lot of breaking. So I'll scoop those hundos first, probably. 52%er there. And this little guy here.
That one did spit out one purple one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's completely inert.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like he was saying there, as soon as he's done breaking all these ones over here, he'll go over back to that left one and scoop all those hundos first, because he knows that there's absolutely no garbage in it. And then he'll come back here and get any hundos that are in these ones.
Yep.
And then away we go. Yeah. And then go lower as, you know what I mean? Progressively lower.
Right.
As little garbage as possible.
She snuck up there a little bit. I'm trying to. There we go. She's trying to fall out, but.
Oh, you got her. No biggie.
I break up all these guys.
Yeah, there's at least 4 there, 5 there. I think you're gonna break. Yep.
This is a 29%er here.
See, that's the problem too. Is now after he gets all these hundreds, he has to come back. You gotta scan each one of these little rocks, and your timer's still rolling.
Exactly.
So, the more rocks you gotta break up, the more time you waste scanning rocks. The closer you're gonna get to your deadline. That's where it'll be nice, where we can have a ship piling up the big ones, and the mole comes in and scoops.
So Racadius says hi. How you doing, Racadius? Welcome to the stream. Can't remember if this guy had anything in it. They all did, though, so probably does. Yeah, this has a little bit in it, too. This is a 57%er.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, okay. Well, it's only 412 mass, so...
Yeah, that's a little guy. Here's where you want to lean on your brands, for sure. With these little mass guys. Racadius said he's doing good. Oh, he says okay. Welcome aboard. Alright, there's break 2. Here we go. A couple of other breaks here. This is a 34%er. Boy, this one broke up just yucky.
It's about as bad as it gets, really.
Yeah, really, it did. It broke up. Terrible. We're going to make the most of it, though.
See if you can find a hundo over on this right-hand side one before you go to the left-hand side. Then that's one less that you have to scan.
Yeah, I'll definitely do a little bit of scanning to see if I can find a hundo or two before I scoop.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. That's a good break there. Was there one more yellow in here? No, these are all purples. Oh, there was a yellow in there. See it down there? It's being sneaky.
Yep, just barely.
It was nothing. That's good.
Nothing. Okay, good.
I think this guy had a little bit in it.
Right.
Because they all did. Doe, yeah. How you doing, Doe? Arachnius is saying, tried surface mining solo with the mole last week. Never again. Little tedious for you, Arachnius? It can be, for sure. And Doe's like, hey, good to see you finding something this time. Yeah, I deserve that, Doe. It was a rough, man. Over on Crusader, it was rough, man. We're back to Lyria, and you know, it's funny. I left a honey hole, and I wished I didn't that day. That's for sure. I didn't end up with a uni that day, though. I don't know if you caught that. I actually set the timer. Like, if you go look at that stream, I actually felt so bad because I spent a couple hours looking around and not finding anything. And I put the timer on the actual stream so you can go look at the uni I pulled in at the end of it. So I made it work, but ooh boy, was that was a tough day.
She was a big grind.
It was
yeah.
tough sledding that day. Awesome. All right, so this last one here is broke. All right, so I got a lot of scanning to do here. Let's see if there's any hundos over here that I can just kind of make a mental note. That's a hundo right there.
That's a good start.
Yeah. That's a hundo right there.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Like you say, that cuts down on the time that you have to take.
Yeah,
while your counter is going.
Yeah. I'll remember those two. Real quick. Sharp saying, I find the mole bugged on Lyria. It keeps jumping when you're breaking down a rock. That's not the actual... There's a 94%er. No, that's called Desync. And that's something that you're going to find on planet surfaces. There's a hundo right there, too. So I think I'm going to be okay here. Let's go ahead and...
I think you're good to start.
Yeah.
I like the desync thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can speak to the desync.
Sorry, yeah, with the desync thing, like, keep exactly where you are. Don't move your mouse. Don't touch anything. It'll drop down. It'll come back up. But if you move your mouse, you'll be off of where you were. So basically, I take my hand off the mouse. If we're gonna desync and go down, then it will pop back up. Right?
Yep. That desync is weird. It will make you'll try to correct for it, but you're not actually the server. You're in the exact same spot. It's just there's a weird desync thing happening there.
Like the server's taking a shit for a real quick second, and then it comes back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's exactly right. One little edge of the nub there. Sharp saying he never uses the Prospector, just the Mole. Well, I love the Prospector. It's my favorite ship. But there's nothing funner than a Mole when you have some real good guys at the, you know, on the lasers. That's for sure. And I don't do as much soloing with the Mole myself. It tends, for me, it tends to be a little tedious. But you know what? I never begrudge somebody who's got more more energy than I do to do it. And when I first bought the Mole myself, I did it a ton. And I just, you know, I've really kind of gone back to the Prospector. I've decided that I like the solo play in the Prospector just a little more than the Mole, just because of that jump, you know, that jumping in and out of the seat there. All right, so I happen to know right off the bat. I think it was this guy.
Yep, it was.
I'll just double check just to be careful, because I'm doing pretty good here. So that's going to get me north of. It was this guy.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll finish out the scans here. Chris Bates is saying Prospector's view can't be matched. I don't disagree with that. The Prospector's, that bubble canopy on the Prospector is pretty nice.
Oh yeah, vision on the Prospector. You can't match that 100%. Agreed. I really like that because it's full screen. You can't. There's nothing in your way. It's beautiful.
That is nothing. We've got 26 SCU on board and quite a few rocks still to look at. So let's go over here and we'll start working our way through. Oh, I'm not getting a scan on that guy.
I believe that top right was 94%.
Yeah, there was one of them over here that was a good one. But I just would like to... not getting it. That's not good. Just like to grab the hundos if I can.
Roger.
$89. %, quartz. So Gen Alliance, so how much cost mining chip? How much cash do I need to collect minimum? I think the Prospector is 2.1.
That's 2.1. Yes.
Hey, there's a hundo. Hey, Cyber Spooky, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Good seeing you. Yeah, so I think you got 2.1 there is going to be... Alright, let's see what this guy is.
So then on top of that, you do have to buy that land set and some consumables. So, I mean, if you budget for, you know, 2.2 or 2.3, I would say that'd be your best bet, and you can get yourself into a Prospector, no problem.
I don't disagree with any of that. You want to have... You definitely don't want to get... I'm just trying to finish out this uni here if I can find another hundo or two. There's a couple that will get me real close. That's a 54%er.
Yeah, when you're this close to a uni, you gotta try for it.
Yeah, you gotta push just a touch to see if you can see if there's a hundo in there somewhere.
And we know where there's 94%, so
there's a hundo.
there you go. There you go.
We're real close now. There's 31. Oh boy. She fell a touch short. What do we got here?
So close.
Trying to ring the bell. I don't have the bell yet. I want to get a bell whenever we get unis on board, but I haven't found one yet that I like.
Oh yeah, we'll have to get you a ship's bell. You bet.
All right. Still trying to squeeze this one more little bit out. Just need a hundo in here. That's garbage. Wow, I think I'm gonna have to settle. I might have to. Because I don't think there's any hundos left over here. Alright. I'll look at these one more time. I don't think these are...
I think those ones out there had nothing.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, I got 31.78. I guess that's...
Well, I'll go for that 94 right on the top.
Yeah, there was a 94 over here. So not a uni, but darn, you know what? I'm not going to sneeze at what we ended up with. There's that 94 SCU.
There comes that little bit of a... Nope.
You know what? I think that filter did it.
Yeah, you got it.
I think the filter, I think that ended up being a uni because of the filter.
I gave it to you. That was, yeah, there you go. That was worth the price of admission right there.
Oh, yeah, she put me over. All right, well, we're not going to sneeze at that. We're going to go, we squeezed a uni out of 2 rocks, and that's a real good demonstration of, of how to do that. So, nothing to sneeze at there. Wow. That filter, I was at 31.79, and I hit that 94%er, and all she pulled on was Spontaneum. That is really cool.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see how much, you know what I mean? But because it was a 94%er, that filter takes off 30% of your inert, right?
Yeah.
So you would think that there should have been at least 1,000th of a percent of that inert, but because you're so close, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Hey, Squirrel Lord, how you doing? So Chris Bates is saying, I wonder if inert material will be used for base building with the Pioneer. That's a good question. I could imagine there might be some inert material that you'd need for that.
There could be a need for that, absolutely.
Squirrel, how you been? Squirrel said, I bought the Hurricane, been having a total blast with it. What a great ship, the Hurricane. If you have, obviously you need a turreter, somebody to jump in that turret. But if you have somebody in that turret who knows what they're doing, that is a very effective ship.
Oh, the Hurricane, yeah. I just got myself a Hurricane for the org.
Yep.
And that one is the fighter thing that I'll use if we're doing fighters. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is a great ship. You really, as far as a 2-person ship, that thing brings a lot of firepower to bear. It's a great ship.
Absolutely, I agree. Now mine's just stock, mind you, but once I get a little deeper in there, that'll be there's some upgrades on that I'm sure you can do.
Hey, Squirrel said he made a couple of streams in the last 24 hours. I'll have to come check those out, Squirrel. I will check that out. I know that you do some more combat stuff, and he's saying lots of explosions and fun.
Nice. There you go.
And he said he got to show a new player around, which is always that's always a good thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
Is show a new person around a little bit. Love it. Craig Blair is saying, could you have someone on the ground with a tractor tool sorting all the 100% quants into one pile and setting the rest aside? Craig, that is an excellent question. Right now, the hand tools are not strong enough to move the piles around, but there is the 315P. That is the Origin 315P. That's going to have a tractor beam on it. And that tractor beam, we are going to use that for a sorter. Absolutely. We're going to pull when you break a rock and there's a bunch of junk on the top, pull that sucker off and throw it away. You can sort the rocks with it, make hundo piles. Absolutely great idea. And that's one that we've thought about before. And I will tell you I truly see the benefit in that. So we heard first alarm, and that's because I had to pick over 2 rocks to get this uni on board. But you're coming in so close now. You're still doing you're still in real good shape. Exactly. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the gear, the VTOLs. We're gonna set this. Look, what are all these rock icons doing? What? I think these are like turrets that are.
These are turret icons coming up. Yep.
That are just kind of bugging out as rock.
As rock. Yeah, because it looks like a rock, but the left one looks like a turret. The right one looks like a rock.
Yeah,
right?
And they're both turrets.
Yeah. Huh, weird.
It's funny. Hey, I'm gonna mine that turret.
Yeah.
Give myself a uni.
Yeah, try that out. Hit it with your mining laser. See what happens.
That's exactly right. That will not end well. All right, so do a little post flight here. We hit the ground and just confirm that. And we will run on in. Squirrel Lord saying the new player had great aim while in the turret. That's cool. It's awesome that you can show somebody, you know, a little bit about Star Citizen and their new player, and they're also, you know, were able to use the turret and use it effectively. I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Craig Blair saying,
I like when people, I like that when people mentor other people. Like this
yes.
game is so open ended that there's like, because there's no storyline yet. That
Right.
I mean, it's hard to know where to go when you start.
I agree with that 100%. You know, and mentor is the right word, right? It's difficult enough, and there's all these little things you need to learn. So if someone shows you around a little bit, it definitely is a super, super handy. And one of the things Craig Blair said, nice, he's looking to snag a Prospector after those Xenoprophets came in. Thanks for answering that for me. No problem, Craig. You know, you'll love the Prospector when you kind of get a handle on it. And if you watch our streams here, you'll see it's, you know, Quantanium mining is not, you know, there's a meta to it, and you'll want to kind of, you know, learn. But you can kind of, once you kind of get in the groove, you can make pretty good money pretty quickly with the Prospector.
And it's a step by step. It's not rocket appliance. It's, you know, it's just you do this first, you do this next, and then you don't blow up because you lose your shit, right? You know what I mean? Yeah.
That is exactly right. So, Squirrel Lord saying I had 2 different guests on the 2 streams. They were good guys. I love this community. I have had nothing but, you know, with real good luck with the community as well. I agree with that. There's some great folks in the community. Also, I think that we're blessed to have really good content creators in the community. I think that there's some people that are super informed and are. I've definitely heard on Info Runners and on Astro Pub. You know, they like to do reading. I don't do as much of the reading stuff. I just like to mine. You know? So, but we are blessed to have some really good content creators. Chris Bates is saying Star Citizen is an open script for you to write. I agree with that 100%. It definitely is you know, a sandbox, and you can kind of go do what you want in the sandbox, and I actually really like that. You know, and some story-driven stuff would be great too, though.
Once that Squadron 42 comes out, well, then that's a whole other aspect of the game that you can embrace if that's what you're up to. I really like the idea that you can go out and you can make your money any way that you want right now.
You can.
And, yeah, I like that. I like that aspect that you're not driven towards, oh, the storyline said I have to go and kill all these ships. Well, I'm not good at destroying ships. Well, I want to go mining. Well, you know what I mean? So
right.
That's the beauty part of that. Yeah.
Yep. You don't. If you can kind of just do what you enjoy doing, for sure. And some of that just might be just flying around and heck with it. You know what I mean? Just looking at the sights. I mean, yeah, that ended up being a real.
Fly around planets until you're. You know what I mean? Yeah, go fly around planets. Now we get. Like, it keeps coming and coming and coming, like terraform planets, and these big cities are only going to get nicer. Yeah, absolutely. If that's what you like to do, why not, right?
That's exactly right.
That's exploratory stuff, absolutely.
Well, that is 2 in the hopper right there. And I am debating on whether or not we should go for one more run. Where are you at?
You know what? That was pretty quick. We did those in a pretty timely fashion. I'm down for another run.
Why don't we at least sneak back over there and try one more run? Now that means it's going to run just a little longer than it normally runs. And I will kind of do the old shameless plug again real quick. You know, if you like the stream, go ahead and hit the like button for us. We, you know, we like your likes. You know, it helps us out tremendously, and maybe get some more people attracted to the channel who want to learn about mining. So, and a couple of other things, you know, just I'll mention real quick is we definitely we definitely recommend QuantCalc. We have the link in the channel. That is an org-driven tool that will help you calculate how much quantanium is in a rock, and it will also do clusters, so you can, you know, if there's quantanium in 3 or 4 rocks, you can plug them all in and get the total value for those. And last but not least, I will say, Spectrefleet.space is a great organization, super great group of guys. And I like to just mention it. It's not, I don't like to spend a whole lot of time talking about it because you can come and ask questions yourself. But it's Spectrefleet.space. It's a wonderful organization. I've been with it for quite a long time now, going on 8 months, I think. And yeah, I've never looked back. It's been great. So, Squirrel Lord saying, I think the next time I stream, I'm going to take my Cutlass and load my Cyclone MT on it and go looting and shooting. I'll try to get a guest on if I can. Yeah, nothing with a little run and gun. Nothing wrong with that. So cool.
I like those Cyclones. That's a fun little way to get around a planet.
It is a fun little way to get around a planet. So I've got, as you can see here, I did go through one of my brands there. I still have the FLTR XL. So I will go ahead and save this, and I'll know to use the bottom ones first to use them up. And we've had a couple of requests to go dark side mining. So that's what we'll do. We'll go dark side mining.
Let's try it out.
We're not scared of going to the dark side. Pad 2. All right. Dark side mine is easier for pirates to see you. It's true. If you active ping, you definitely can get a.
Well, I mean the same thing too. I think you can see those lasers from quite a ways away because they put off a lot of light.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And that heat signature's up too.
Yep.
Arcadius is saying it's 1 a.m. in Poland. Thank you for staying up this late and hanging out with us, Arcadius, for sure. Alrighty, back we go. We'll head back over to Lyria, and we will go to the dark side.
I'll be AFK while you're in jump.
No problem. So a couple good runs so far. We got a unicorn on board, which is a 32 SCU, and we had a rock that we found that had a maximum of 21 SCU in it, but I think we ended up with 17 in the hopper. So just shy of 50 so far SCU of Quantanium mined, and we're not ashamed of that. So we're going to head back over to Lyria one more time. We've had a request to do a little dark side mining on Lyria, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll go back out one more time and see if we can't find something to put the lasers on. Ooh, so, hey, Scalba, 7 p.m. here in Michigan. Scalba, I'm from Michigan too. So just as a heads up there, Scalba, you and I maybe have talked about that one time. I can't remember, but no, I'm in Michigan. Alan Daly says, have you tried mining with the mole with the Lancet head on Lyria? You absolutely have had the mole many times, Alan Daly, on Lyria with the Lancets, and they work great. Cyber Spooky saying it's 11:06 a.m. in Tasmania. Tasmania is awesome. That's cool, man. Squirrel Lord saying time to go make some more money, and Sharp saying it's 12 p.m. in the UK. So, thanks you guys for coming and hanging out. Theory crafting, anything mining, anything, and really anything StarCraft, but is what we like to do. We like to do theory crafting for sure. And so, yeah, if I just kind of do a rough estimate, Sharp is asking, so if I had 47, yeah, 400, right around 415,000 or so for the 2 trips at 88 SCU. I suppose with my refining costs, it's going to be, in the neighborhood of 400K. Yep, that's exactly where we're at, Sharp. Squirrel Lord saying I like to watch streams of things I don't usually do. I like to learn new things. I have a Prospector. I should give it a go sometime. Squirrel, you know me. I mean, anytime you're going to come to the stream, 97% of the time it's going to be Prospector or a Mole or an ROC. We're going to be mining something. We're going to keep on digging for sure. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yep, no problem. Nothing like a good mining stream before sleep. Yes, exactly. The one thing, mining's not high octane, so if you're trying to maybe get off to bed, probably not a bad idea to watch a mining stream. A little more low key,
not quite so much adrenaline going unless you get quantum leap, right?
If the adrenaline's going, we're doing it wrong. That's for sure.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, when you get your quantum jump disrupted, then your heart rate goes up a little bit.
That's exactly right. So Alan Daly saying, Dasman 2020 and SC on your, I'm on your friends list. Hey, Dasman. So appreciate that. That is cool. All right, so if I'm gonna go to the dark side, why don't we go over to? Oh, the orphanage is not in the dark though. All right, well, I was thinking we'll hit the orphanage. There's the launch pad. I bet you if I go to one of these ones, there's Wheelers. There's Humboldt Mines. That's 561. That'll take us over to the dark side. We'll do that. We'll wrap around and head in.
The spline jump.
And head on over to the dark.
Turn upside down and wrap around the planet out here. It's called the spline.
Squirrel saying maybe I should come over and team up with him sometime and get that itchy trigger finger a good scratch. I will definitely, Squirrel Lord. We'll have to talk about it. I'll come turret in your hurricane and see if I can do as good as new guy there. Maybe not. I hope I could. Yeah. So.
In return, you'll have to put Squirrel on the mole.
Now, one of the things that I love about, is... Oh, hold on. I gotta get these twists just right. There we go. When I switch over from Hosas to mouse and keyboard for mining, sometimes it takes a minute to get all the, to get, all the yaws working good and all that stuff, so... Gotta get her down on the canvas here a little bit, and I'm gonna tab out. There we go. Good. So that wasn't a doubler or anything, but we're gonna get settled here and
see a little dark side mining before bed. That's even better. You don't even get light in your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. maybe a little, but hopefully not too much. Maybe we can get that old the right hue on the laser, so it's not too much blue light for you. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Those sleeping lights there. So Chris Bates is saying, imagine Kraken loaded with prospectors just floating around the halo. Oh my stars! Could you imagine a Kraken full of prospectors? That would be all right.
Oh yeah.
Back and forth on that guy. Maybe have a refining ship right there, and
well, if you could have a refining ship, once the prospector is able to dump its cargo and somebody can come and pick it up and run back and forth to that, oh man, it's just that'll be primo.
I agree with that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Once you can kind of keep your own fleet going.
The only time you got to take off with your prospector is because you're low on hydrogen, then you go up to your refuel ship and you fill up on hydrogen and then you're back in. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man, that's going to be cat's meow right there. All right, so we are just kind of cruising along here, looking to see if we can find some doublers, or we can find ourselves a cluster to take a closer look at. And we are going to active ping for sure now and then. Active ping in the dark. It can draw the flies, but it also will draw the land too. So it's not a bad thing to be able to kind of keep a little bit of a wireframe of what it looks below you. And so we'll just keep on digging here. Oh, Scalba says, sign me up. Yeah, that's where we're at, Scalba, for sure, is some of those bigger organizational operations with kind of integrated ships that have to work together, coordination. That's going to be so much fun. All right. So, kind of pivoting off this guy. I'm saying about 1,600, 1,700 off the deck. Nothing Nothing too fancy. You know, you'll see me kind of float between that and about 2,500. I don't like to get, you know, I obviously stay a little higher than I normally do during the day, just so, you know, you don't have an accident. There's some doublers. Just so you don't have an accident. Arcadius is saying, we need night vision. Hey, Murloc. Murloc is saying, hey, hey. He's joined aboard. How you doing, Murloc? Murlork. I think I say Murloc all the time when you jump on the channel. But I don't. Forgive me. I definitely, I try and do my best with everybody's names, and I'm sure some of you chuckle when I mangle it. All right. I did turn on the light there. Boy, look at that orange kind of glow in the... There they go. First set of doublers. This might not be a bad rock either. 10%er. It is weird how those, you know, those are wedged a little differently. Those 10%ers have a deceptive... Oh, I clicked the wrong button there. There's a 10%er. That's a nice mass, too, on that rock, so... Chris Bates is saying, go into battle with the Kraken, load it with Prospectors, use the lasers as a distraction. Those lasers are more deadly than you think. You know, if obviously they're, you know, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of ace combat with them or anything. But they will especially cut down a player really quick. We had an operation one night where we had the mole kind of, you know, chasing players through like on microtech in the snow, and they, you know, they were like, oh, the light of the mole would go over our head and scare us to death. We thought it was going to get us. So that was a fun org event we did one night. And then Murlork is saying, I don't even know myself which is the correct way to pronounce it. Fair enough. Yeah, Murloc, of course, comes from, you know, from WoW, I think is how I, you know, World of Warcraft, I played enough of that. There was Murlocs, and then I think that's where that's the inspiration I'm drawing from it. All right. Looking around here for something to mine. Kind of some dark side mining. Pretty good clip here, too. Cyber Spookies says, I did attack an Idris at XT. Didn't end well, but I had to try. Yeah, we went after some of the Idrises, too. And, you know, with mixed results. You know, absolutely. That was a lot of fun. I do like Xenothreat. It's a lot of fun, you know, fighting the capital class ships. We did Xenothreat a couple weekends in a row. And really did enjoy it as a group, collectively. Doya says, I game on YouTube with an 85-inch projector. I just kick back in my easy chair. Very relaxing. Very cool. You know, that must be quite cinematic. Though I can appreciate that for sure. Murlork is saying, WoW was an inspiration indeed. Played it for 13 years until I quit 2 years ago. Yeah, I haven't played in a while. I did play WoW Classic a little bit when Classic came back out, and you know, and I think seems like I tanked one of the Black Wings. You know, I got up to, I had a warrior, and I got back up to where I tanked maybe Black Wing Lair. I can't remember exactly which one. That's as far as I played it though. WoW Classic again. And then Squirrelord saying, time for some Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album. Yes. By the way, behind me is a giant poster that's a 1972 poster for Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd is my favorite band by a mile. But I think Forrest is a Zeppelin fan, if he's around still. I know he's a Zeppelin fan. He likes Zeppelin. Buchanan Stevenson, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. I love the song Money. That would be appropriate for this. Yeah, you're right about that. Money would be appropriate for this. Alright, we're just looking around for something to put the lasers on. We did a couple of really good runs, solid runs. The last run was a unicorn. And we decided, we normally just do a couple of runs, but we decided we'd come back out here one more time. We did get requested to mine on the dark side, so we just thought we'd come over and do some dark side mining. So that's what we're up to. Comfortably Numb, yeah, great. Oh man, great song. Gilmore just is all over the solos on that one. Some good singles here. Hopefully we'll see we'll start seeing something like some doublers, or we will start seeing a cluster. Squirrel Lord saying, I often play synthwave in the background when I play this game. Ambient music is really cool as well for Star Citizen. Grizz Base Magic Carpet Ride, fair enough. The ground's a little closer there than I thought. It's a good thing I was active pinging. Get up in the air a touch. Yeah, Magic Carpet Ride. That's a great choice, Chris. I like it. Very cool. Hey, there's some doublers. Let's go down there and take a look at those and see what we have. Squirrel Sam getting nostalgic for Pink Floyd. Yeah, Pink Floyd's been on rotation in my house since, I don't know, maybe 1986, maybe? It's 87? I'm a little older. And I don't think that's uncommon in the Star Citizen community. But Pink Floyd's my favorite band by a mile. I do like Radiohead, too. A little more modern band, but I do like Pink Floyd a ton. That I put the gear down, didn't I? That's an 8%er. Cyber Spooky says, seen many Pink Floyd concerts. Last one, Pulse Tour in Sydney. Everyone stood there collectively with their mouths open. And then Murloc says, last time I was here, you said that your armor makes those icons yellow. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Errol armor. I purchased it in game and the icon's still blue. What am I doing wrong? You may have to go back out to the menus. You have to log out and log back in for that effect to take effect. I do know that. So that's, I think what you'll have to do is go back to the menus and go back into the game. Deep Purple, yeah, I hear you, Sharp. So Cyber Spooky, I will tell you, I went. It was like '94. In Pontiac, I think it was 1994, in Pontiac that Pink Floyd came and played at the Pontiac Silverdome, and they played the entire Dark Side of the Moon. And it was like it was mind blowing. I know I brushed a tear out of my eye for sure, for sure.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can. We lost you there for a minute.
Yeah, sorry. I was just having some mic troubles with this old computer. She's starting to break down in a big way. Yeah, well, I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad you're back. Second of all, whenever I have something new on the way, the old one seems to, it knows somehow. She's deteriorating in a hurry. Yeah, it knows it. It knows it's going for e-cycling.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I'm glad you made it back for sure. So I found a couple of doublers, but nothing too fancy.
I heard you say the word Zeppelin, so that made me really want to get back.
Yeah, no. So Pink Floyd came up, and I said, I'm a big Floyd fan, but I know that Forrest is a Zeppelin fan. That's his jam.
Yeah, I'm a Zeppelin thing. Pink Floyd's the wife. That's her favorite thing, and my top 5.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Absolutely. You betcha.
Oh, yeah, Zeppelin's top 5 for me, too. And John Bonham may be, quite honestly, my favorite rock drummer of all time. He's...
Well, him and Neil Peart, man. Neil Peart was a fucking magician.
Oh, yeah, well, Neil Peart he's a special guy. Holy smokes. Rush is a special band, really. I mean, that's a great documentary on Rush where they just kind of, and obviously it talks about how they were kind of getting towards the end, like the radio, or the record company was saying, hey, we need more singles or whatever, and then they put out 2112. It's like,
yeah,
no, we're not giving you more singles. We're going our way.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you're not going to get singles when you're doing 8-9 minute songs, right?
Well, that's exactly what they did, right? It's so funny.
Exactly. No, I agree. But at the same time, but they're all glorious. Like, I mean, there's not many albums that you can go through the whole thing and love everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of Zepp albums that I really like. Boston, when they did the self-titled album, right?
Right.
That one was only 8 songs, but I could listen to that over and over again.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And there's many Floyd albums. I mean, Animals is one of them. Obviously The Wall I could listen to over and over again.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm behind here. Let's see. Murloc Scalpel said just the helmet. Yep. Squirrel Lord says the sci-fi artwork of the 70s was epic. I agree with that 100%. Cyberspook said been lucky enough to have traveled the world and seen all the greats play live. Wow, Cyberspooky, that is nice. Yeah, good for you, man. Memories are the one thing. I mean, money can they can't buy you everything, but when you have memories that are of that type of stuff, that's awesome. That's the one thing. It's like that traveling thing, right? It's a special thing to be able to do. Alan Daly is said, I sent you an invite to a party request. Come join if that's okay. I'm in my Prospector. I'm just trying to finish up this last bit of the stream, Alan, but I appreciate the invite, and I'll definitely try and catch up with you at some point later and see if we can't get some mining in together. But I truly do appreciate the offer. Arcadia says he's saying something about Zeppelin I won't repeat because of... And I think he's just joking. And he LOL'd after that. And then a squirrel is just, I was born in the 80s, huge Weird Al and Metallica fan. Weird Al is hilarious, no question about it. I love Metallica. Metallica's a great band. I really like their earlier works like Ride to Lightning, Master of Puppets. Those ones were definitely, and obviously Injustice for All was fantastic.
My number 2. I got Zeppelin 1 and Metallica's number 2.
Yep. Now Metallica probably they made more money after the Black Album, but after the Black Album I didn't like Metallica as much, but that's a me problem. I understand if people did, and you know what, because I like their earlier stuff so much. Especially Master of Puppets,
Well, Master was really good. You know what I really like though, and it got such a bad rap was Load. Load always got such a bad rap, but I love Load. That was my favorite Metallica album. It was I don't know. Everybody says they don't like Load. I don't know what more you want from a heavy metal like a rock album than that. I mean, King Nothing, The Cure. All that it was magic. I love it.
No, I can appreciate it for sure. I remember the last time I went and seen Metallica live. It was so funny because every time they'd play one of the older ones, I'd be singing along, and then I was standing next to this guy, and every time they played a newer one, he'd be singing along.
Oh, nice.
And so that really shows you. I mean, Metallica spanned generations for sure. There was definitely a beginning, to them guys, and a middle, and and hopefully not an end anytime soon. They've been a pretty consistent, powerful band for a long time.
Yeah, I saw him once in Calgary and once in Edmonton. I like the one in Edmonton because I remembered it. We went to Calgary first, and we got so drunk and stoned that we couldn't remember the concert. So we had to go and see him again, just so that we could remember the music.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I've definitely had been to a couple Metallica shows, that's for sure. Squirrelor, let's see, Cyber Spooky says, I just purchased my first CD in 10 years. It blew me away. First album I've ever bought. It's all killer, no filler, and it appeals to my musical tastes. Yeah. I haven't bought it's been a little while since I bought a CD. I'll tell you that.
Wow. I can tell you, it's probably been 10 years since I bought a CD.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's been a while since I bought one.
Do they still sell those things? Is it not on thumb drives yet?
No, it's a good question. They must. Cyber said he just bought one.
Nice. And see, then vinyl is starting to try to make a comeback. Well, except for the fact that every vinyl disc that you want to buy is like $48.
Yeah. Oh, no question about it.
That's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I have a friend. No darkness in it. I mean, obviously it is what it is. But a friend of mine who passed from cancer, born the same year as I was. Just a great guy. Just an unbelievable guy, and he had an awesome record collection. I mean, just a huge vinyl collection. And he had collected a lot of it with a buddy of his, and most of that collection went to that guy. He passed it to a good buddy of his. But I managed to get a couple of things out of there. I got an Iron Maiden album, Somewhere in Time, out of there, which is fantastic. And I did get a double. It's Pink Floyd, called A Nice Pair. It's A Saucer Full of Secrets and Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And I got them both in frames here in the office.
Nice.
It was that double Pink Floyd album is great. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, just kind of like a nice keepsake. You know what I mean, for for a buddy or whatever. And Squirrel Lord saying new metal that I like, Beast in Black. I just discovered the band Rhapsody of Fire. I'll have to check those guys out. I'm always looking for some new rock, for sure. Some new metal.
Yeah, I'd like some new rock that isn't Glorious Sons. God, I hate that band.
I don't know that I recognize that name.
The Glorious Sons, that sawed-off shotgun song, and oh man, that was good for about the first 3 times I listened to it. After that, it's like, I can't stand that band. I don't know why, but they're my what's the one? The Dragons, the Imagine Dragons. That's my Imagine Dragons.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most hated band in the world right now is Imagine Dragons. They took over from Nickelback.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Nickelback apparently was like the most hated band in North America for some reason, and I like some Nickelback stuff. And you know what? They're from Hannah, which is an hour and a half, 2 hours drive from where I live.
Right.
So maybe I'm biased, but I don't know. I thought they did some pretty good rock and roll stuff, but I don't understand why they got so hated. But that's just me. But then apparently Imagine Dragons took over from them, and that's so that Glorious Sons, that's my Imagine Dragons.
I'm not a big Nickelback fan. I won't go into it. You know what I mean? Too much on Nickelback. I can certainly understand. I could certainly understand if their hometown, or close. You know what I mean? Close. What why?
Yeah.
Why?
Like I say, I'm biased.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. And so, but as far as I just don't listen. I don't really go out of my way to not, heck, if you like their music, like their music. If you don't like their music, don't like their music. I don't know if there's any bands that I wouldn't use the word hate very often on bands, but I definitely know what you mean. There's a visceral distaste of Nickelback. They are the butt of many jokes.
Bands that I definitely hate. Weezer would be one of them.
I
hate Weezer to the point where I
like some Weezer.
Makes me want to rip my arm off and beat him with it.
I like some Weezer songs.
No, I hate that shit.
I don't. I won't turn it on or anything.
Just when I thought we could be friends.
Yeah. No, it's fine. That's awesome. Let's see here. I'm falling behind here. Let's see. Cyber Spooky. I was in San Francisco in '82 to see a band called Raven. and that band supported them, opened up with a set called Motor Breath. The lineup was musician MC Govney, Lars, and Hetfield. Oh, interesting.
Nice.
It seems like I've heard that Motor Breath thing before.
Lars and Hetfield, so that's even pre-Metallica stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Squirrel Lord says, ouch, more hated than Nickelback. That should come with an achievement unlocked alert. Hey, there's a ship over there. I wonder what we got. You see that guy? I'll give him a scan.
Oh, you got another guy there.
I do. Well, I don't want to fly at him. So we'll just turn this other way and head this way.
Wasn't that just the way you just came?
No, he's behind me.
No, I mean, aren't you flying the way you just came from?
Yeah, but I don't want to fly it right at another guy.
I understand not flying at it, but don't fly the same way that you came back. You'll never find any rocks.
Yeah.
Because you've already looked at them, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, no, that's a reasonable point. I certainly don't want to circle back a ton either, so we'll just kind of...
Put her off on a tangent? Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and gain a little speed, and we'll put a little behind us here. Let's see. Cyber Spooky says, bought the demo tape, No Life Till Leather, and Kill 'Em All on a singlet and still have them. Oh man, Kill 'Em All. That was a good album.
That was a good album.
I did like that one. Oh, it's Squirrel Lord saying, who remembers Slayer? Hey.
Oh, Seasons in the Abyss? Are you kidding? I love Slayer.
Yeah, he's like Angel of Death, obviously. Arcadia says he just Googled Weezer and he agrees with you for.
Thank you very much. I like that guy.
Yeah. That is hilarious. Hey, some doublers. And
there's doubles. Oh, two
sets of doublers. All right. So maybe seeing a guy. Oh, that might be a cluster over there.
That could be a cluster there. Yeah, that's right. Well, let's check out these doublers first.
Yep. We'll check out these doublers and then
or 3 sets of doublers. It's either that or a cluster.
Yep. So I'll turn back to my 6 o'clock and we'll head towards those guys. We kind of do a thing here. I'll just double check where we're at. Yep. Slayer. Yeah. No, I like Slayer. Slayer's sweet. Here.
Seasons in the Abyss was one of the first tunes that my sorry about that.
No problem.
Seasons in the Abyss was one of the first tunes that like my very first band that I ever sung with played. So it was one of like the first real hard, heavy metal songs I ever learned to play. Yeah.
So there's a 14%er, nothing to write home about. And I need to head basically, I think, in this general direction to find this cluster. I think it was over here a little bit.
Yeah, somewhere in here, possibly to your left. There it is.
So there's some doublers. And there might even be another set of doublers. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Let me just kind of ping the out here. Yep, I got to get up over that. Oh, Squirrel Lord said he likes Faith No More. Faith No More is sweet. I like that. Yeah. Arcadia says his sister liked Black Sabbath. Nothing wrong with Sabbath. Ozzy can sing. Ozzy can sing, man.
Sabbath, yeah. We went and seen Sabbath in 2014. On 420. So we went and seen Sabbath on 420, and they didn't play Sweet Leaf.
What?
Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
They did not play Sweet Leaf.
That is... I didn't even know you were... I didn't know they were allowed to give a show and not do that.
That's what I mean. They didn't play Sweet Leaf at all. They're like, crowd was chanting for Sweet Leaf, but Ozzy couldn't get away from his teleprompter. They didn't have that one in the queue. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
So they couldn't play Sweet Leaf.
Yep, Ozzy's he's definitely got some miles under his belt, and it's not all just age.
How does and speaking of which, how does Ozzy Osbourne live to be fucking 70 some years old, fucking pushing 80 years old? Like that guy was the excess of excess.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have no idea.
Like that guy, I mean, come on. Like, you know, Jim Morrison passed away at 27. Jimi Hendrix passed away at 27. You know, Kurt Cobain passed away at 27. These guys didn't do near as much shit combined as Ozzy Osbourne did.
No. He's definitely. Now that is a nice rock. That's 82. That's an 8200 mass, 20%. So.
Yeah, and it's all underground.
Yeah. So I won't be able to break that one. I'm not kitted for an 8200 mass. And this is nothing.
Nope.
Sandy Claus, welcome aboard. Wow. Sandy Claus. Oh, Alan Daly says, can you rent a mole in SC anywhere? I guess I don't actually know that I know the answer to that question about renting a mole.
Sorry, can you say that one more time,
Can you
please?
rent the mole in game?
I've never seen it for rent. I don't know that you can.
Yeah,
I know that you can rent a Prospector, but I've never seen a mole for rent.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen one of those for rent either. And Scalba's saying no, only the Prospector. Sandy Claus, welcome to the stream. That's the first I think I've seen your name. Hey, first time watching. Well, that answers that. Just on the first week of playing SC, got a Prospector. Welcome aboard. You are, you know, we're doing a little bit of night mining. We had a couple of really good runs earlier. Hopefully, we can answer any questions. We'd be happy to try and answer any questions that you have about the Prospector. And like I said, we normally end the stream after we do a couple of successfuls, and we had a really good. You can go back and watch the rest of the stream. We had a really good first break, and second break we got a unicorn, which is a full Prospector. We've not been quite as lucky this time. We've had to kind of do a little fly in, but we're just doing a little night mine in here, seeing if we can find something else to put in a hopper, and that's what we're up to now. So yeah, just wanted to say welcome aboard. Squirrel Lord, what is funny is how I think he's saying Steven Tyler looks today. I haven't seen Steven Tyler in a while. And he's got to be up there in years.
Yeah.
Definitely no mole for rent. You can't rent the mole. Yeah, the community seems to agree on not being able to rent the mole. I definitely have never seen that for rent, and I've never heard of anybody renting it. So, but the Prospector is definitely one you can rent.
See, it's nice too because you can do the whole thing. If you can figure out how to Quantanium mine, if you can get down and get some rent a Prospector, get your ass back and get some loads into the refinery. You can also rent the Cutlass, so you can take those loads to town.
Yes.
Like you can do the entire process without having to buy anything, and if you got a little bit of loot, you know what I mean? Like if you get a couple of full Prospectors, now that was worth it, definitely, because now you're buying your own Prospector, buying your own Cutlass, or a Freelancer Max, and you know what I mean, and running through your 4 loads at a time, 100%.
So that's exactly right. I agree with that 100%. Sandy is saying, should I upgrade the Quantum Drive? And to what? I'm scared to mine Quantum. Well, Sandy, you have come to the right place if you're scared to mine Quantum, because that's all we do on this channel is Quantanium mine for the most part. I mean, obviously, we're going to ROC mine and hand mine to do some other things, but if you go back and watch the stream, today or any day that we've done mining, maybe not the last one because we didn't find as much on the Crusader side, but you will find that there's all sorts of good information about Quantanium mining, and you will work your way into getting comfortable with the process. And as far as the quantum drives, the best all-arounder, I think Forward agrees, the Atlas.
Atlas is right. That's what I use on mine.
Yep. It's a great all-around drive. The Atlas is absolutely fine. A short-range drive could be a VK00. I have a Rush on this one. I don't mean to confuse you with a bunch of different ones. If you were just going to buy one drive, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Atlas. If you're doing a short-range circuit, nothing wrong with the VK00. The Rush is kind of in between the Atlas and the VK00, and I do like it.
So now, just to answer his question though, is a quantum drive necessary? Absolutely yes. The quantum drive is necessary. You want that Atlas. You don't want the stock drive on the Prospector because it's way too slow. You know, usually you're only going about 2.8 million kilometers between Lyria and Arc L1, like we're doing. But if you're out in the Halo or something and you're 5 million kilometers away, that takes a lot longer. Now your time still keeps ticking down. So get yourself that Atlas and you cut your time in half from the stock.
I agree with that 100%. Well said, and that's yeah, couldn't agree more. Doing a quantum drive upgrade is a really good idea. Not only do they spool faster, you go faster.
The other thing too is get yourself a Lancet mining laser.
Yep.
You want the Lancet. The Lancet is the best for Quantanium. Helix would be the best for everything except Quantanium.
Yep.
But Lancet is the best if you want to do Quantanium. The Lancet mining laser is the one you want.
Yeah, it really, the debuff on it is just too good. It's just too good. It brings down the instability and the resistance. Super good. So, hey, here's some doublers.
And it opens up your optimal window as well. Like that Lancet mining laser opens up your optimal window almost double. Like it's an extra 50% on your mining on your optimal window. So you can't go wrong there. You just can't.
Nope.
It's slightly less powerful than the Helix, but it cuts down your instability, so you're not jimmying all over the map with your percentages, right?
That's exactly right. All right. Doya says he uses the Spectre drive. That's interesting. I have to look at the stats on that one, though.
Spectre drive is what I use on my Razor.
Nice.
That's a stealth drive.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, there's some certainly some upside to some stealth componentry for sure. Squirrel Lord says all I know is the fastest Q drive for the Prospector that you can kind of the fastest drive you can get to deal with the range is fine. And I have two. I have an Atlas on one and I have the Rush on the other. But if I've had the VK00 before as well, and I definitely I like that drive a lot too. Look at that, a couple of 2%ers. As if I must have already been here before because those dids just
made a big circle now.
Yeah, I might have. So I'm just gonna kind of because it remembered those scans. Because I turned away from when we seen that ship.
See, we might be in that little spot where we found those 3 doublers if this is the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cruise over these because I think that's the case.
Are you sure? You don't want to check? I don't know. I'd check.
All right.
Just in case. You never know. You pass by something, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
We've been flying for a while.
Yeah, but
yeah, this came right up.
Yeah, they came right up. So
yep,
I've got.
In here
I turned away. So here's what I'm gonna do then. Well, it's okay. I'm just gonna kind of. I think the right thing for me to do maybe is hit an OM.
Yeah, I'd say try one more because we're gonna have to we gotta close this out.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's see if we can't find something. Obviously, this dark side. Wow, this area on the dark side isn't working for us.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, it's just we've had a couple of really good successful runs. We weren't getting lucky here. I'm just going to get up in the air. I'm going to hit an OM. We're going to come back down and do a different spot, and we're going to look around real quick.
Yeah, we'll cut our losses and try again. Absolutely. Right back.
And we'll just head over to the orphanage if I can find it. Launch pad, buckets, wheelers, Humboldt, Teddy's, Loveridge, Elsewhere, Shubin, Pitt. Alright, we're looking for the orphanage. There it is. We'll hit the orphanage and see how we do. What's the quick math on mass to SCU, Sandy Claus is saying? Well, Sandy, we have a deal for you. Now, the way it works is if it's 1,000 mass, that's 20 SCU. But if you look in the, we do have right here, it's $1 for the app. We've made an app that will quickly tell you by the mass and the percentages how much quantanium is in a rock. So it's on the Google Play Store. It's called QuantCalc, and there is a link in the description. And it's something that we use all the time when we find quantanium rocks ourselves. So yeah, we'll mention it here or there a few times. But if you check the link in the description, you will definitely see QuantCalc, and that will help you with that as well.
Hi, I'm back.
Shameless plug, I suppose.
That's okay. We need a few of them.
Yeah, well, Sandy was actually asking what's the quick calculation on, massed SCU stuff. So.
Oh, perfect.
Kind of
well, we have the answer for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just $1. Yeah,
for 99 cents. Yeah, can't go wrong.
And it will answer that question every time for you, real quick. So we've gotten here where it's not. I wouldn't say we're necessarily dark side, but we're not light side either. We're kind of in between.
A diddle diddle, right up the middle.
Right, exactly. And so we want to find something here and get her in the hopper. And just because I will just mention, and I'm sure everybody understands, just because we didn't find something on the dark side doesn't mean the it has nothing to do with it. You know?
No, that's the furthest thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you land on some areas that have things, and sometimes you land in some areas that don't, and that is just the way it goes with mining. We weren't even finding very many doublers, so.
We got pretty lucky at the beginning, so Karma kind of said that we got to fly around for a while.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, we did.
Yep.
We right off the bat, we put in almost 47 SCU right off the bat, and
we had two good loads in 45 minutes of total time. Yeah.
So Sandy's asking, do you prefer the dark side or the sun? I think for the stream, the sun side is better. I mean, there's more visuals. People can look at it better. But overall, either one of them is just fine. I think you actually maybe prefer the dark, right? A little bit?
I do. I prefer the dark side just because of contrast. Absolutely 100%. Because, if you're staring at the sun and you can't see your green window, it's a lot harder to find that angle where you can get at it. When you're on the dark side, the only thing you have to worry about is the light from your mining laser.
Yep. And I think that's a very reasonable argument for contrast reasons. The daytime can definitely be washed out. It can be a little easier, a little more difficult to keep an eye on what's happening with the optimal window in the day. And so I definitely abuse the shadows. The sun makes shadows on the rocks, and I abuse those a little bit usually for some extra contrast when I can.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, and Sandy's saying he asked for pirates and griefers, and you're gonna run into those. If you're a miner, eventually you're gonna have somebody who is gonna take a notice to you mining, and the Prospector is not in no way a combat vessel. It's gonna happen, but I'm not gonna exaggerate. Let's just say I've done 500 Prospector runs, and it might be that easily. And I've been pirated once. There is some anonymity. I mean, Star Citizen, even with the 50 people on the server, now, of course, I'll knock on wood, and I don't want to attract anything, but if pirating becomes a real big issue, Sandy, you can always head to the Aaron Halo, and there's a lot of anonymity there, for sure. Virtual A is saying, this is cool. Thank you, Virtual A. Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it.
Just to add to what you said, I think you're absolutely right. Like, like pretty much impossible for somebody to just drop down on top of you when you're in the air and halo mining. Like it's like that would be one big coincidence. That guy got lucky. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, finding somebody in the air and halo is like a needle in the haystack, even if you know where they're at. If you don't have a marker on them, you know, trying to get within 100 km of somebody out in the halo is not going to happen. Hey, there's a doubler. Give that guy a look.
Heck yeah. Is that a double over to your right as well?
It's actually it's an icon in a square, so it's
okay.
Yep, not the true doubler. All right, let's take a look at these guys and see what we got. Well, this is going to be a good rock. 47%er. It's only a 3200 mass though, but that's probably around 30 SCU. And this is a 4%er. So it's a 3250 at 47.59.
3200 at 47 is 30.
Yeah, there's 30 SCU in this. We're going to go ahead and do this guy. And
there's a little over 30 actually, just because I only went 3200 at 47. You had 3250 at 47.5, so
yep,
you got a little over 30. Yep.
So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and we'll knock this guy out, and it's a little bit of it's a little bit of dark side mining in a way. It's not perfectly dark, but you know, we'll make it work.
Them's the breaks.
Sandy, please don't be sorry for the questions. That's why we have the stream here. Please ask all the questions you want to ask. One of the things that we love doing is answering questions. It's really the main reason we have that we do the stream is. I mean, we could just mine all day ourselves, but we like answering questions for people that have them. And so please ask any questions that you have. I could not be more, interested in your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them the best we can.
And if we don't know the answer, you know what? We'll bet we can find it.
That is true. But between 4 and I, we've done a little bit of mining in our day. That's for sure. So we're working on this first break here.
Yeah, it looks pretty close. Looks pretty good already.
Yep. And this first rock, it's kind of touchy in the spot that it wants you to look at it. But good first break nonetheless. So almost half this rock is Quantanium. And we're hoping that it's clean, but we'll see here. That's going to be a 100%er. That's a good sign. Nothing there.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Nothing there is a good sign. That means there's more with better. Yeah, nothing there.
All right.
So there'll be less rocks with more concentration.
Yes. Looks like this guy underneath is going to have, there's 400 mass. That's an 87. So I would say that it's going to be one of these. I'm gonna just kind of turn on the light here. And it's not.
Yeah, you see how that washes out a little bit, right? Yeah, without that, you can kind of see those outlines, but you don't get to see, you sacrifice one for the other, right?
Absolutely. Arcadia says, I said my sister likes Black Sabbath. It was a Cannibal Corpse, and I was leaving the room. Oh, interesting. And Oi the Bumbler says, good morning from Australia. Hey, good morning. How are you this morning? Welcome aboard. Yeah, this is interesting. Because that one there was one. I'm not seeing a whole lot.
There's a little one you can barely see underneath, just to your south of your, right there.
And that's a hundo too.
Yeah, and that's underneath of everything.
Well, I might have to break up some of these. Yeah, and there's
That's
a...
your 87.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Where is that one? So I keep finding
Well, you
it.
break a couple of them down, it might open it up a little bit for that bottom one.
Yeah, I'll break this one down first over here.
Yep.
And just we'll see how we do, and I'll feed some brants into it. And
There you go. See, that's the other thing that I'm still curious about is, you know, controlled breaks with overcharge on rocks that have nothing in them, just to get them out of the way.
yeah, and I can do that a little bit. I can put a little mustard on
But
one
you
of
gotta
them.
be so careful. Like, it is very precise.
Yeah.
Because a little too much, and it'll EMP your ship.
Oh, absolutely. You can definitely have it get your ship a little bit for sure. So we'll get this guy broken down first, this hundo. And the 757, that's a pretty good chunk of it right there. I mean, that's 15 SCU.
Nice.
That is funny, that one right there. That's another hundo. I'm not going to move on that at all. It's 350. Guessing the terminal will let you know if it's passive or consumable. The FLT LXR, that is a mining module. The other ones are the consumables, the brants. Just kind of getting that guy up in there. I was a little late to the party on the... This brant will give out before I...
That's alright, you got yourself into the green. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I'll just fire the brand again and just kind of
Why
keep
not?
it.
For whatever it is, $1,400 for 5 charges.
Yeah.
That's a pretty low on your cutting off your profit margin there. Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't want to mess with it.
Yeah, and I mean, you could swing back and forth on that thing, overcharge and undercharge, but you run that brand, and it does help big time.
All right, so it did knock that away a little bit. What was this guy?
That's your 87%er.
Yeah, there's that 87%er. We'll knock that one down. We'll jump that guy up into the... It's still 42, so if I can race it up in there before 30. Looks like we got there.
And you gotta be a little careful with that one.
Yeah,
because
I had to turn that laser right off for a second.
yeah,
She was jumping.
because she'll skyrocket on you.
Yep, she wanted to get hot real quick. Cool.
See, it's good to practice with brants because that's good practice for surges.
It is good practice for surges, for sure. All right, we'll get this guy.
Then you can take out those 8600s. Like, I've taken an 8600 at 35% and, you know, more than filled my mole. Not mole, prospector.
I ended up putting a little mustard on that thing at the end, but I think just the right amount.
Perfect. I think this one was nothing.
Yeah, that's definitely nothing. Now, what's this guy over here kind of hanging out at the end? We'll see.
That might have just got uncovered. Oh, no, he's nothing. Okay.
All right.
He's purple.
I don't see anything else, really.
No yellow. That top one. Very top one. No, it's all purples.
It is all purples. Am I wrong?
All I can see is purples.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, let's just kind of go to the extractor. And we'll...
I suppose as long as you know, if you do it quickly, you still have time to break one rock if you have to.
Absolutely.
All of these ones, yeah. You uncover 100% or underneath of all these purples, and you could still break one if you had to. Yep.
That is exactly right.
And you might not need it. Well, yeah, you'll need it, but nevertheless. But it looks like you're climbing pretty good here already.
Yeah, there's a 99%er.
Yep.
What do we got there? hundo.
As soon as you hit it with the laser, it moved. That was sweet.
Yeah. There's a hundo.
That's just a little guy.
So it's Alt 1, 2, or 3 for a consumable. Yep. And then Ado says Google the modules and see what's what, or just YouTube what people use. Yeah, I use an FLTRXL, which is a fairly expensive one. It's like 60,000. But then I also use brands.
But remember that the FLTXL doesn't ever go away unless you crash your ship.
That's a mining module. That's exactly right. There's another hundo.
That's a passive module, so it stays on in the background all the time, and you don't have to worry about refilling it. It's not a consumable.
It's exactly right. There's another hundo.
And then you run your brands, and then your brands keep your instability down. But then on the other side of that coin, I run a Stampede and a Surge, and those are my two that I run because I like to get the bigger rocks. So I'll get the bigger rocks with more in them. So I'll run the Surge and the Stampede, and then either a brand or like a lifeline or something like that, just in case I overcharge something. I'll run a lifeline, and then but there's different options. You got to find out what combination works for you.
That's exactly right. All right, that is nothing. Oh, Sandy, if you've not done any runs at all, yeah, do some non-quantanium runs to get comfortable. Do some Baxolite, Laranite, Terranite, Agricium.
Yeah, do it without having a timer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. Get comfortable and then move into a timer situation.
I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, definitely do yourself without the timer, without the hassle. Get comfortable with landing it on the pad. Get comfortable with all the basics before you get too crazy with it.
And exactly like he said, do your ites, your Laranite, your like that kind of thing. Laranite is the next best thing, right?
Yeah, Laranite, Terranite, Baxolite, Agricium,
and Agricium.
Borace, but Borace usually breaks kind of funny.
I would say practice on those a couple of times first, at least, and then before you, and watching videos doesn't hurt. But figure out your order of operations. You know what I mean? And then cut down any downtime. There can be no downtime. You need to know what you're gonna do next without having to sit there and think about it.
That's exactly right. That is nothing. That is nothing. And I am not seeing a whole lot more here. But you know what? That's 27 SCU.
I thought that one underneath would have had something, but okay.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
No, but it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I don't think there's anything else there. I think it,
No.
I think we're good.
I think you got her, my friend.
Yeah.
27's good, though.
27 SCU is nothing to sneeze at. That is a solid run. Okay. Take to the skies here. So, yeah, I mean, so 30 to 27 is, obviously, we probably did almost 70 SCU tonight. You know, in not a terrible amount of time.
Yeah.
We'll count it up. Did a little squirrely there. Cecil Hatfield, welcome to the Oh, he says the QuantCalc link didn't work for him. If you just go to the Google store, I'll have to check that link. I thought it was working fine. If you go to the Google store and just type in, search for QuantCalc, it will pop up for sure. It's, yep, and he says, I searched and came up with the one by Spectre Fleet. Yep, that's us. That's the one. That's the one, Cecil. And thank you so much for asking. For sure, yes, that's interesting that the link doesn't work. I just kind of copied and pasted some of that stuff into there, and I did not double check the link was working, so I do appreciate you mentioning that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just make a note of that.
Well, I'll do that. I'll make sure I write a note down, and I'll do some pre-flight before I double check that that's working before we... And then Cecil saying, Bexlight's number 2 price-wise, then Terranite, Borace, and Laranite, that order. I agree with that, Cecil. And there is nothing wrong. You know, I know that we're out here doing Quantanium mining, and we do a lot of that on the stream. There's nothing wrong with a good load of Bexlite. Bexlite's a lot, you know, you can make a lot of money mining Bexlite too. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, you know, Laranite or Terranite or any of that stuff, especially if you're starting to get your feet wet with the Prospector. Do not be afraid to mine that stuff. I couldn't agree more.
I mean, you know what? You make your 2.1 million back, and after that, it's all profit.
It is all profit. And a lot of that profit comes at the, you know, because you have the experience. You put lasers on things. You know, you've monkeyed with it. You kind of learned the meta for breaking things down and extracting. You know, you've learned how to hit the edges when you're trying to scoop. You know, some of the little extra tips or tricks that can help you kind of get more concentrated stuff on board for sure.
Little trade secrets, absolutely.
Yep, little trade secrets. That's the cool thing about Star Citizen mining. I think there is no. You don't like hit the node and then it keeps giving you a skill up. You earn your stripes by just doing it and watching other people do it for sure. Sandy Claus, Xeno got me enough for a Cuddy Black and an ROC, upgraded the starter pack to a Prospector. That is awesome.
That's what I started with. I had the Cuddy Black and I bought the ROC in-game. That's what I started with. Yep.
I myself hand mined to the ROC, and then ROC mined to the Prospector, and Prospector mined to the Mole. But then, you know, there was the wipe that happened, and when that happened, I did buy the Prospector. So, you know, the Prospector is nice to have, and then eventually, you know, bought a couple other little things here and there.
Just one or two little things here or there.
You know, but the Prospector is the Prospector really, if that ship will print this Prospector. The Prospector can print you money once you kind of know what you're doing with it.
Yep. I think I had, well, I mean, yeah, there was some smaller stuff, but I think I had like 15 ships before the big wipe. And that was just on my Prospector.
Absolutely. So we have
after the wipe, I'm back up to, well, I bought some Cyclones and I bought back that Dragonfly because I think it's a lot of fun. So
yes.
I've got the little ground ships, but I mean, I've got 5 or 6 good spaceships. Yeah, after the wipe, and that's just in game with my Prospector.
Absolutely. Yep. Cecil saying, absolutely in the beginning I used Bexlite and such to purchase my Mole. Now I have that in the C2 and do you know, run millions, probably doing some cargo runs for sure. C2 is a nice ship, man. And I will say, you know, Quantanium, of course, I've made a lot of money with it. But Agricium made me rich back in the day, for sure. I mean, I mined Agricium on yellow all the time. You could find it in high percentages. Before there was the refinery and you could just sell it at the refined prices, oh my stars. You know, I made a lot of money on Agricium back in the day and didn't think twice about it. All right, so a little post-flight stuff. We'll go put this guy, store this ship. Arcadius is saying, I tried with the rented Prospector 12 hours straight and made 360K. Yeah, the rented Prospector can be, you know, a little bit, you definitely have to do some other things than high percentage Quantanium. Now, if you find like something with like a Laranite rock that's got like, you know, 6, 8, 10% of Quantanium in it, you can do that, and that actually helps, you know, increase the profit significantly. But
absolutely. Oh, good point.
Yeah, you do low percentage stuff, and it makes a big difference. Doe, yes, as my adventure was putting a rock in a Nomad. Yeah, I remember when the Nomad first came out, putting that in there was an adventure.
That's the pickup truck of
It is.
spaceships.
It is the pickup truck. And then Cecil says, I own 2 outright Cuddy and a Prospector starter mining kit. Absolutely. Cuddy and Prospector is a starter kit for sure. It 1-to-1, that Cuddy 1-to-1's the Prospector all day long, and it's, you know, there's a lot of cargo runs in it, but you know what? Every time you make one, it's, you know, a couple 100,000, nothing to sneeze at.
That's perfect. And how long did I run the Cuddy with my Prospector? I only bought the what's it called there, the Freelancer Max. I only bought that one a couple months ago. And wow, I bought it a couple months before the wipe, and then I bought it a couple months ago. But
right
at the same time, that was all we ever did was Prospector and Cutlass 1-to-1 loads. So yeah, it gets tedious, but it still gets your goods to market.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And nobody usually is going to mess with it. I mean, one thing I will say is, if you're a Cuddy hauling in, no one's really pirating the Cuddy. I mean, they're not looking at a Cuddy to pirate. I mean, if you're a Freelancer Max, you know, that says, you know, and you're flying around, that's got a little, you know, it's an awesome cargo hauler. But it's definitely one of those ships, when you see it as a pirate, you think to yourself, that's a cargo hauler.
Oh, yeah, that's a big fat whale. Yeah.
Right. That's exactly right. And so, you know, you can kind of slide under the radar, I think, a little bit with the Cuddy. And if you happen to lose a load in the Cuddy, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt nearly as bad as when you...
the world. But at the same time, you know what? If you've got a gunner in your Cuddy,
yep, and
you got a second guy in your Cuddy, it's actually a fairly formidable ship. Like,
absolutely,
you get two guys that know how to shoot the guns on that Cuddy, and you can defend quite a few attacks. Oh yeah,
I do not disagree with that. Cecil saying Cuddy goes well with the Rock too. Agree with that. Absolutely, ROC mining in the Cuddy is.
Yep.
Lots of people cut their teeth on mining doing that exact thing.
That was my thing. That was my thing. I did a year of that. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
See anything you like?
All right, so we're gonna bring this guy in. I'm just gonna do a Dynex solvenation. A 2701 is, you know, of course, there's gonna be a little bit of a tax here on the refining job, but we'll go ahead and we'll figure out what we made tonight, because it wasn't too shabby. So this first one doesn't count. It was these 3 runs here that we did. So let's go ahead and I will add up the amounts. So we had 1634 plus 3039. That was a uni. Plus 2565. That is 7238 times 88. 7238 times 88 equals 636,944. Not a bad night. We weren't
nice.
Probably maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours. I don't know, if that. I don't even know.
Yep.
You know.
So you know, four of those, and you got yourself a Prospector.
Absolutely. You know, so anyways, I just wanted to kind of you know, do what I normally do on these when I sign out, is just kind of do one of these things here and pull this back and just I wanted to say how much I enjoyed having everybody along tonight. There was a great conversation, lots of theory crafting. Thank you very much for, you know, for being here.
It was my pleasure.
Truly, you know, the streams are so much funner when you're around, for sure. And I want, you know, anytime I can get you to join, I want you to do that. Sandy, if you have any other questions, you can certainly look me up, analytical number 8011. I will look into the link for QuantCalc. If any of you can look me up here on my channel. I do have lots of tips and tricks about mining in general. We love to answer questions. But with that third mining run in the hopper, I think we're going to call it a night tonight. But thank you all for coming. Have a lovely night. Please take care of yourself, and we'll see you all around the verse.